Hello, Chase, and welcome to day 2 of
Welcome back,
Electric Boogaloo. We are on day 2. This is episode 451 of the Casual Hour. It is December 17th, 2025, and we are recording the live version of our final day of deliberations for the Casual Hour's casual categories. We have one more Game of the Year episode coming up on Friday, the 19th of December, where we will give you our actual personal top 10s as well as the scientifically accurate Casual Hour top 10.
And our most anticipated for 2026.
And our most anticipated. You will be able to, if you are watching this and you want to go back and listen to it, that audio will be posted on Monday of next week. And if you are listening to this, go back and watch the videos because we got a lot of cool things for you to follow along with. And we will have some cool screenshots up on our social, which is the Casual Hour at bluesky.social, where you can find us there. And you can see some of that stuff if you're listening to this. So now that that's out of the way, Chase, last episode, we covered 7 categories. Best non-2025 game, backlog game of the year, best new character, better together, Bobby's Wabi Sabi, best looking, and best style. And tonight, we have best moment or sequence, wish I liked it more, Touchy Feely of the year, Chase's best Hack-A-New category for the show, best Strand Game coming back again, best debut, still stranding, and best number 2 here tonight. And we're going to break down all of those through friendship and total agreement. That is the agreement, correct?
I guess so.
Okay. Let's get into it. If you are unfamiliar, folks, we are going to go through these lists. We will be selecting the clear winner for the Casual Hour after we go through our categories. And for that, we've got a lot. Best moment or sequence, always a hot button topic here on the show.
Big category.
How do you explain this to people who don't know what that means?
So I think in a simpler time of video games, we would have called this something like best level. But games have expanded out so much more than that. And so sometimes this is something that's shown in a cutscene. Sometimes this is a boss fight. Sometimes this is a specific area of a game. Sometimes it is a level. And other times it's maybe just a thing that happened to us that's like a more personal thing. I think a couple of things on here are more personal. Hey, this happened to me in a video game and it was really meaningful. But most of these, and I think you do get a couple bonus points for being a general thing that everybody experienced in that video game, because this is, an award show where if we're saying, hey, this is the best moment, I think it matters that somebody could go into the game and experience that same moment. But also the personal ones have a lot of pull because they're personal, right? So this is a relatively open category. How long or how short is a moment or sequence? I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It's just something
come out in the wash.
It was a moment in time of a game we experienced that meant something to us.
Yeah. It could be like a really good feeling moment. It could be a really sad moment.
Yeah.
It could be something where you did something fucking cool.
Could be a wow
Any of
moment
those are
for
on the
sure.
table.
There's a lot of that here.
Yeah.
So we've got a handful to get through here. Would you like me to read these off, Chase?
Yes, please.
All right. These are going to be in alphabetical order. Arriving at the beach from Clair Obscure Expedition 33. Ah, Rivieres Gustave from Clair Obscure Expedition 33. Developer commentary from Despelote. Enter of the Duelist from Clair Obscure Expedition 33. Ghost Chase from Peak. The Giraffe Song into a T. Happy Birthday from Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Making a Breakthrough from Blue Prince. Pizza Atami Fight from Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Sacred River from Sword of the Sea. The Kitsune from Ghost of Yote. The Wedding from Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Unlocking 2 characters at once from Ball X Pit. You Are the Ball from Despelote. Don't Shoot Adventures from Arc Raiders. And Keep Up from Dispatch. Also, this is probably a good time. We should have done this on Monday, but spoilers, by the way. We will be...
I don't think we had anything that was super spoilerish on Monday. We did a little bit for character. I think we called it out a little bit. But yes, this specifically, we're talking about stuff that happens in these video games. And a lot of these things, not all of them, but a lot of these things happen very deep or even at the end of some video games.
Yeah. So
I mean, if there's any one of these that you're like, oh God, I gotta go play Death Stranding 2 on the beach. I'm like, well, buddy, you're in for a very long video game, but you should probably do that before you listen to us talk about
And we would love for you to listen to us talk about it, because we have a lot to say about these things, but go get contextual awareness of what we're talking about and then come back and have your opinion formed.
I do think it's very funny, Bobby, that arriving on the beach is one of the moments, and it's not from Death Stranding 2 on the beach. The game with more beaches per
I don't even know if beach is the I call it the beach because it feels like another period of time where people mistakenly arrived on a beach. But anyway, I can. How do you want to do this?
I feel like this is one that it's not as easy to just say. It's not like best new character where we can just go, oh, that was a cool character, but it's not going to make it. I think we actually do have to explain each of these moments to the audience, a little bit to each other as well. Some of these games are games that we haven't played. Now, I've gone in and watched YouTube videos of most everything that I could from the things that I know Bobby put in. I put in some YouTube links for things that Bobby had played or hadn't played, and some that he had played. But just to kind of give us the reference and the context. So we generally kind of know what we're talking about when we're bringing these things up, but good to just let the audience know. And this is, again, why it gets into spoiler kind of territory. So do you want to go in alphabetical order and just run these down?
Yeah, I think I can do
that. Maybe even like a very brief context. And then if we want to talk about it more deeply as we get into the conversation.
Yeah, I think if there's one, for sure. So arriving at the beach in Clair Obscure is right when Expedition 33 is out. So the gommage has just happened. There's a lot of momentum. You are on a boat, you step foot off of it, and you're supposed to be going out here to take care of the paintress who paints the number that then whatever that age is disappears completely. And so you are going as a 32-year-old because you are the next for that. And you land on the beach and everything is really fucking eerie, but there's this beautiful send-off that you have, like very victorious. The gommage has happened. It's been awful to lose folks, but there's belief and hope. And
so is this very early in the game?
Dude, this is literally the beginning of the game.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so this is when you get out there and you're landing for the first time. Nobody has ever been back from this place. There's literally nothing to be known about it. So every expedition that has gone up to Expedition 33, starting with Expedition 100, has died in action. And that's the whole concept. Like, that's why the tagline is like, for those who come after, because every little inch further into this is better for those who come after. And so you step off the boat, and from the shadows emerges this elderly man. And there's no old people. Again, the oldest people are 33 and they just died. And so everybody's like, holy fuck, how are you alive? The gommage just happened. Who the fuck are you? No words are spoken, and the dude straight up murks the entire fucking expedition down to like 4 people. And
and from the video that I saw, the clip, like it's not just like him murdering people. It is like tentacles coming out from other places. Like it's dark and like
oh
shit's
yeah,
happening and people are getting taken. Like it's the raptor scene in the Lost World or whatever. Like
100%.
it is fucking D-Day out there.
Yeah,
Where
100%.
these people just get messed up, and you're right, it does. That's why I asked, like, where was this in the game, because it does seem like something that would happen very early, because it went from all these people
Yes.
to holy shit, there's only a few of them left immediately.
Well, yeah, and then it kind of becomes like this whole concept of like, why the fuck would you even continue? So your character Gustav actually, at some point in time after that, he just puts a gun to his head, and he's like, I mean, he doesn't pull the trigger, of course, but like it's like the expedition's ruined. Like this whole thing is for naught. Everybody that was depending on us is dead because of us. And like
now, us as Americans, like I even brought up the D-Day there, but that is Normandy, France. Do you think that France might feel that is also a very important thing that maybe they were paying homage to?
Yes, 100%
as part of this video game.
So yeah, it's a very powerful scene, and it sets the tone. It sets the stakes correctly, because you leave thinking that like we're heroes, we're going to do this, and you immediately are failures. And I think that starts a very interesting journey that leads to au revoir, Gustav, which
au revoir.
Au revoir. And so you get into a situation in the game where Gustav is like the character in the box that Charlie Cox voices. There is a point in time where the individual, Renner is his name, by the way, the old man. I was like, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on these, so I'll just say this. Like, this is where Gustav dies. And it's an incredibly sad departure for a lot of reasons. It's a very heinous, like, stab literally in the back. But there's an epic.
You just finished like a boss fight, right? Like you
things
got
were
through
like
a part. Like a couple of characters now like jump down off a cliff to like start to move on.
Yep.
And it's just like Gustav and Mael who are left there, and they're kind of going like, well, whew, glad we got through that. And just immediately Gustav gets fucking run through from behind.
She says, do you want to skip another rock? Because that's something that they did together at the beginning of the game. And so like the weight of like they could have jumped with everybody else, but she wanted to throw a rock. And if she wouldn't have wanted to throw that fucking rock, he could have been alive for a little bit longer in this. So I think that there's some weight and guilt there too, but it's a very powerful, very powerful.
He continues, like, even though he got run through,
he got fucked up, man.
Like get up and sacrifice himself Mael and the other people can live. Like it is a very Bob Omby moment. But
I mean, it wishes
maybe a little bit
it could
drama.
be that. But yeah, those are two really big moments. That's actually the end of Act 1, by the way. That's how Act 1. So that's kind of how Act 1 begins there, and how Act 1 ends.
And that also, I mean, if we're continuing the spoiler train on that one, again from the clip that I saw, that introduces potentially another character who ends up kind of taking Gustav's place. And continues to lead the expedition.
Correct.
And he gets a nice moment as well of like he gets to come in and go, oh, I'm a cool badass and I know some stuff that the rest of the party doesn't, and I'm here to kind of save you. And it is a cool moment for sure. I think it was a very
both of those are really cool. Chase, what's up with this developer commentary? I thought this was pretty fascinating.
This one is interesting. So Despelote, a game I obviously love quite a bit, and I think there are a couple moments here. We'll talk about the other one a little further down, but I thought this one was really cool. There's a part pretty close to the end of the game, maybe like the second to last real thing that happens. The story has somewhat wrapped up at this point, or at least this part of the story has wrapped up, and you are in class and you take this quiz, and once you're done with the quiz you get to run out of the classroom with all the other kids and go and kick the ball again. And you've done this a couple times in the game so far, and this time when you go and you kick the soccer ball in the park, the moment that you kick it again, like you've done multiple times in the past, this time the game goes from its like limited color palette art style to full color, and everything looks like it's like a Google Earth 3D scan kind of thing.
That's what I was like. I was like, is that just lifted from like an API for Google? Is that what this is?
No, I think they actually went and did a scan, because a lot of the stuff that they're talking about in this part of the game is kind of how the game was made, and it shows how the developer kind of comes in through voiceover as you explore this park, but now in a way that you haven't seen it before. And as you're just walking around exploring, the ball's gone, so you can't even kick anything, so you're just like going through this weird geometry, but okay, that's a car. I can tell that's a car, and
Yeah.
it looks like a car, but it also looks a little off because it's that kind of 3D, Google Earth kind
I
of
couldn't
thing.
tell if they were going for like a PS1D, like I really didn't. Like I was like, are they trying to change? Like what's the purpose here? And I was like, oh, this is like a map.
Yeah, it's not just low poly. It's like it's trying to scan something and it's getting imperfections in the scan, and so sometimes a tree has this giant globule of
It
like
didn't look great.
Branches and leaves on it. It looks bad.
Yeah.
And you kind of understand, oh, that's why they have the limited color palette to make the game more stylized in that way, and you don't see it as much when you're playing the game in that very stylized way. But now they kind of take down the curtain, and you get to explore this space that is this park, and the developer comes in through commentary and talks about how, yeah, this park is really important to me, and it's where I played soccer, and it's like going back for I got to make the excuse that I could go back to this park a lot because we got to come back for the game, and we were scanning it, and we had to go find the audio, and we wanted to capture the audio from the park. And a lot of people told us, no, the park's too dangerous, you got to hire like a private security guy to go with you to capture this audio. And I just thought it was really interesting to pull back that curtain and to give this developer commentary in the middle of a game. And I just thought it was fascinating. I thought it was really cool from both a developer standpoint, from the personal standpoint, from the way the story is kind of wrapping up. It feels a little bit like an epilogue, despite there being more game after this.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was really cool. And I want to see more games kind of do that. We've seen like Portal and Half-Life 2 have developer commentaries that you can go and play those while you're actually playing the game. There will be like little contextual things. And I thought this was an interesting evolution of something like that, to just have developer commentary kind of baked into the act of playing the game itself. I just really liked it. It was neat.
I got to do a technical thing for you really quick.
Sure.
You had me change the name of that, and when I did, it kicked off my Absalom entry because that was a late entry. So I switched back over to this here. I will switch it back over in a moment, but you're the ending epilogue that you just spoke about.
Yeah. I wanted you to change it because it's not actually the ending. I thought it was the ending when I put it up there, and then I realized, wait a minute, the other Despoilute thing is the actual ending of the video game. So that is very confusing to a potential audience. But yes, the developer commentary, epilogue, whatever you want to call it.
I just wanted to call that out really quick. That's why I'm switching it back over here.
Yep.
So that brings us up to yet another Claire Obscure one. This one is more spectacle for me. This is Enter the Duelist. And it is a really awesome boss fight. You are crossing this bridge that gives out, and there's a really beautiful shot of the party falling very slowly down into the depths of this, where this really big boss shows up. Like, this is probably like the biggest threat at this point in time that you've had control to fight.
He's like 8 times taller than anybody.
Oh, he's huge.
He's huge.
And
he's got 4 arms and a big
Grievous
red
style
fiery sword.
And so like, this is the part where like, you're going to have to like show that you can parry. You're going to have to time your attacks. Like, this is really kind of a skill check in the game, but the music is so good. The like ability to see your party coming together feels really good in this moment. And I think it's hard nowadays to like, again, like I played through like a Pokemon, and there's not a whole lot of sparkle even in those fights. And I mean, I think getting such a cinematic, it felt very like yesteryear when it comes to a turn-based game to feel that cinematic when you're doing those things in between it. And normally when you have a big summon, you'll get that. And this just felt so bombastic. The stakes felt very high. It just looked really good, and you get a really good weapon from it. So that's what that one is there.
I think honestly, you're missing out on what I think is maybe the best part of this. When I watched the clip, is that before this fight, it's Mael like on that bridge. It's Mael questioning, "Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
This is after Gustav has died,
Yep.
and so she's really kind of despondent of why are we doing this? I want to go home. It's not. This isn't worth it anymore. What are we even fighting for?" And then the bridge gives out, and
Yeah.
they go to this kind of underworld area where they fight this giant boss, and everybody has to come together and use their skills, and you get through it. And then once the boss is defeated, the party kind of gets to look around, and it's more revealed of where the hell they are, and it's just this giant mass grave of people that they have been fighting
Yep.
on top of slash in the middle of. And like one of the other characters, I don't know the name, she comes over and talks to Mael and goes, this is why we're fighting. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
look at all these dead people. Like
Yep.
this
It's so
this
good.
is a terrible thing that continues to keep happening, and it's going to keep happening unless we push forward. This is why we keep fighting.
Yeah.
And that, like, being able to resolve that through a boss fight and kind of show and then tell
Yeah.
Mael, I think that is a really powerful moment. I did enjoy that quite a bit.
It's also just, again, like a continuation of like, I keep falling down every step that I'm on in this game. Like it just makes you feel despair. And it just feels like there's a ton of grief. Like you're carrying grief. This whole game is about grief.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the
even
core
in
of
this
it.
moment of triumph, there is still grief.
Oh, that's the whole thing, dude. So crazy. Yeah. Chase, that brings us to you, my friend, the ghost version of Chase.
When we
played, you were the first motherfucker to fall off the mountain. And you fell off. It was me and Jiggy's been playing this game. And all of a sudden, because of the game's beauty and proximity chat, I kind of hear like that Austin Powers, like, I'm not dead, just hurt very badly, like way down the end of the mountain. And you relish, you start laughing because you just get to go to either me or Jiggy as this ghost. And it's your character's dumb face. And every time you're talking to us, your character's mouth is moving in the game. And so I'm way away from Jiggy. You're dead. There's a fog rising and you're just fucking pandering at this point because you want us to jump. Just jump. Fucking do it. Like, don't even go.
I'm dead. So like, obviously there's no point to keep playing.
And you had at that point in time, all the power. You had all the power because you could go to either. I could not get rid of you. I couldn't do anything to get rid of you.
It's a little bit like Spelunky. Spelunky does this too. When you die in Spelunky and you're playing in a multiplayer game, you get to be a ghost, and the ghost actually does affect some stuff in Spelunky. You can trigger traps, and you can push enemies. You can blow wind a little bit, so you can push enemies and do a couple other things. You can also fuck with your friends a little bit by pushing them
a little bit.
And so yes, in Peak, I did enjoy that. Once you die, you can. Somewhat similar to Spelunky, you can be useful. Like I could fly around and I could call out things out of like, oh hey, I think there's actually a ledge up here because you're a ghost. You can free fly now. Like you have a free camera. So I could even go back and forth and tell you guys things. But also just in the discovery of that moment, it was fun just sitting my camera right in front of Jiggy's face and just bullshitting in front of him.
But it was just perfect. It was just perfect because again, like you fell and we just heard like the whoa, like and Chase went and like he was gone, like talking.
Because I was doing really well and then I just ran out of stamina at the wrong time and fell. But
then like rough. I didn't know that was going to happen and you come back as this ghost and I remember being like, I didn't want to laugh too much because I was frustrated because you were just antagonizing as a ghost, but it was the most like haunted I've ever been. And I think that's,
we don't do our casual hour clips anymore.
No, it's people don't watch.
I kind of stopped remembering to do it after a while and then went, oh damn, I guess we've missed out on that. But you know, it's not a huge deal, but I think that probably would have ended up being more of a casual hour clip than a moment of the year. But now it's a moment of the year.
Yeah,
I don't know if it necessarily wins this, but it was very fun.
No, I don't think it does.
I kind of want to go back to that stream and just
I would just want to play that game again.
That was pretty fun. Yeah, better together, some might say.
Chase, this giraffe song, we got to talk about this.
Yeah.
Talk about
It's a
it.
great song. It's a great song. So into a T, you're this kid, a human kid, walking around, and you're constantly T-posing. That's the to a T part.
That's the game, right?
Um, yeah, for the most part, you learn how to deal with being a teenager who is stuck in the T pose, and
Sure.
sometimes you get to do cool stuff with it. Other times you get kind of bullied about it. Anyway, there is a anthropomorphic giraffe that runs a sandwich shop in town, and every morning you get to go to that sandwich shop and buy your lunch for before class starts. And every time you do, they play this song. They play this song in the trailers of the game as well. It's a
Yeah.
fantastic song. I think it gets overplayed and that it can be played literally every day. And so at some points I kind of got sick of it, but it is just a fantastic song where the giraffe talks about waking up at 3 a.m. every day to bake the bread, that she's went to cooking school to learn how to do this. She really likes going to the market. She likes making the sandwiches. She likes doing the gardening. She rhymes sandwiches with radishes, which I thought was
It's
great.
pretty good.
It's just a very pleasant song, and I enjoyed listening to it for maybe the first 8 times I heard it, and then I was like, okay, please stop playing the giraffe song. But I still have fond memories of the giraffe song. I listened to it again today just to remember how good it was, and had to watch it again because I really like that song.
Yeah, it's catchy
It's
for sure.
it's maybe the best thing about To a T that I experienced in that game, and I think Bobby would probably agree because he didn't enjoy a whole lot about To a
Yeah,
T.
that stuff's great. It feels like a fever dream in the best way, and it's catchy as hell. Like I could absolutely see how somebody, even if they didn't like, I mean, I don't dislike that game. I it's I don't hate that game, if I should say it. It just
Right.
mechanically wasn't driving with me. But that
Yeah,
stuff,
and
like,
I didn't finish it either. So
yeah,
I did like it, but I
I
didn't
liked how
get
weird it
all that
was
far into it.
for sure. And
Keita Takahashi, man, that's what he does. So that's the draft song.
if you've played a Kojima game, Chase, a modern Kojima game, I would say, like, I think that this is something he does. Like, if you, I don't know all the games you have to put your birthday into, but typically if you play one of the Kojima's games on your birthday, there's going to be something that happens where they wish you happy birthday. And Death Stranding 2 on the beach, they did a really nice job of this. Like, it was actually like a very touching thing for me. It's like, okay, cool. Like, this is a little thing that he put in. Like, if you happen to play this thing on your birthday, it must mean that you enjoy it and you're wanting to spend time with this thing on the day that you get to kind of do whatever you want to do.
Or it's
Typically,
like the day after Death Stranding 2 launched and it was your birthday and you're playing it anyway. So
didn't it come out and was it a July game? I
I
don't.
don't remember.
I was pretty far into it, but
I know as a person with an October birthday, I never saw this cutscene until I watched the
uh,
YouTube video of it
but
today.
yeah, I mean, you get a whole song out of it. Some really cool like moments with all the main characters in it. I took a shit.
They
Ton
break the
of
fourth wall
Yeah,
where Sam's there, so it is you as the first person
yeah.
camera walking up to the bridge of the
You get
of
pizza.
yeah, pizza get well because the cake goes awry.
Yeah,
And yes, your arch enemy brings pizza and everybody's happy about it.
you know that
It's
that
a cute
becomes
it's a cute scene.
that's the thing. A slice of pizza ends up being something that's on your in your room that sits
That's
on that.
true.
So that's kind of wild too. Anyway,
Yeah,
cool
it's fun.
stuff. Yeah,
It's
I don't
fun.
think I don't think it
Kojima
wins.
does love his little contextual
Yes.
um, cutscenes. I remember the one for here's what happens if everybody disables the nukes in MGS5 or MGSV, whatever.
Yeah.
And there's just lots of little ones that he peppers into these games, and so having one for your birthday makes total sense. And I think they did a fun thing with it.
Oh, did you want me to keep Giraffe Song, or do you want me
Keep it for now, but it'll
to?
probably
Okay.
end up getting cut.
All right. This next one, Chase, I'm not going to go into a lot of things with you because I know that you're now playing Absalom as you debuted on Monday's episode. But I want to talk to you about something that happened. I beat this game for the first time over the weekend. And the way this happened, Chase, is absolutely insane. So I told you about necromancy in Absalom. And I told you that I was playing this with a friend who had kind of progressed further than I had. He had this ability where he was running with necromancy, where it wasn't just like making skeletons, but resurrecting people that he's killed. And at some point that we're going through this, we have a fucking chicken, like a ghost necromantic chicken in our party.
Sure.
And we get to the boss the whole way. And what happened with this fucking chicken chase is it has the craziest hitbox. So as everything else is dying, this chicken just won't fucking die. Nobody can hit it.
Sure.
So this chicken's just hanging out, running side to side on the screen. And have you gotten to a point yet where you've hit a chicken a bunch in this game?
Not to see what happens.
Okay.
I've hit a chicken a handful of times, but I have not gotten the Legend of Zelda cuckoo style.
All right.
Everything comes.
Fast forward. We're at Azra. He's got multiple phases. I'm dead. Laying there dead. The other guy almost dead. And Azra does this fucking crazy suplex like move. And I think that's it. I think this is where my partner in the game is getting fucking squished and it's done. And we're so close because he was also at a sliver.
Mm-hmm.
He misses my friend and he lands on the chicken. And he hits the chicken with so much velocity that it freezes the screen. The chicken freaks out, Legend of Zelda style, and starts zipping around the screen and fucking beats his ass to death. And as he dies, he goes into this monologue before his last breath. And as he's talking the entire time, the chicken is on the side of the screen, just flashing like crazy. And as soon as he utters his last word, the chicken takes off running at him and does the final blow. And we get the achievement and we fucking beat the game.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. It's very specific to me. I don't think it wins, but it definitely is an awesome one. For sure.
I mean, for the first time you beat the game and to beat it like that is
cool. And I do have a clip of that I will show you later on after you beat it.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I would love to see that.
Making a breakthrough.
Yeah, this is like one that's hard to pinpoint because it happens so often in blueprints. But I think it's just something, you see this with a lot of mysteries and also a lot of puzzle games. But that was the amount of times in blueprints, especially because it's a game that encourages note taking or screenshotting and putting the pieces together like it is a real detective thing. And to just, as an example, finding the safe code on
it's a great
one
feeling.
of the safes.
Great feeling.
Is just really cool to go, wait a minute. Okay, so that photo is of Christmas. So what if I put in the date of Christmas as the date for the safe? Boom, it opens it up. That's cool. And now I get to do this thing. And it fires off the neurons in such a way that it's really exciting. And you get plenty of those in other kinds of puzzly style games. But again, with this one being so focused on taking notes, making deductions, trying things out, sometimes even brute forcing stuff, to have one of those moments where it all kind of clicks and it opens up a bunch of new possibilities in the game. It's the best part of blueprints, and it happens all the time.
It feels, but it still feels earned every time you do it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I don't think it wins because it's a little too vague, but it was just every time it happened, I went, this game's awesome. Holy shit. How did somebody make this game? It's so cool.
Absolutely. Is it as cool as a Pizza Tommy fight though?
It's such a different kind of cool,
But is it as cool as that?
This is kind of another one of those Kojima, let's pepper in a little cutscene and just show off a little bit.
Yeah.
This is a really small fight. So it happens pretty late in the game. You go back to the pizza chef, who is a character who has been having you deliver pizzas. You're a delivery guy, so delivering pizzas makes a lot of sense. But at some point, you come back. You're worried that something's happened to the pizza chef. I think actually a couple of enemies are in his lobby, dead.
Yes. Yes.
Oh shit! Something
that is
really
true.
happened here. So you're going back and trying to figure out what's going on. And then the pizza chef ambushes you because he thinks you're still an enemy, even though he's dealt with Sam in the past. He, who knows who this could be. So it's just this really fun choreographed fight scene in this pizza kitchen that uses, Sam blocks with like a refrigerator door, opening the refrigerator door, opening the lower refrigerator door to block this attack. At one point, the pizza chef is using like the big pizza peel and trying to stab at Sam, and
Yes.
Sam ducks out of the way. But he stabs with such precision, it goes directly into the pizza oven and under the pizza, and he's able to like, okay, hang on, stop the fight. And so
Yeah.
you stop the fight, and he brings the pizza out and he checks it, and like, yeah, maybe needs a couple more minutes. And he puts it back in, and then the fight continues again.
It's so good.
We've seen this kind of parodizing of fight scenes in movies as well.
It's the most Jackie Chan-ass thing ever.
Incredibly, absolutely incredibly Jackie Chan style moment, but
yes.
it is just fun. It's really well executed.
So good.
Like there's another time where they stop and he cuts the pizza and has Sam eat a slice, and Sam's like, "Oh yeah, that's really good." And then they go directly right back to fighting. It's just good. It's fun scene.
Very, very good. And
it's very good.
There's just no way that I would have expected that. Like out of what was happening in that game, I did not think that I'd end up fighting that guy in that magnitude.
Yeah. And then isn't right after that, that's when he teaches you about the pizza CQC, where you're able to like spin enemies and flip them like.
Well, you also get the rubber pizza dough that you can use.
Yes. God, I love the pizza dough.
It's so good, man. Like that whole thing is just a pizza chef's kiss. Like it's just very good.
That pizza dough, the rubber pizza dough, really is just this throwable that knocks people out. So it's a silent weapon. It doesn't kill. So it is infinitely usable thing.
Look, there was a point in time where I had heart glasses on and an otter hood, and I'm throwing a rubber pizza dough at people. Like, I mean, I don't know what.
That's video games, man.
That's video games, baby.
That's Kojima.
Chase, the Sacred River.
Yeah, this is like one level kind of area, one giant piece of area of sort of the sea, and I just really liked this part the best. Both I really like the atmosphere of it. It's very dark blues, and you're opening up more of this kind of dark night sand ocean, and you're turning it into more of a watery ocean with a bunch of fish life, that's marine life that's happening around you. But there are these ships that continue that are stuck in the sand, and you're grinding on the big chains that connect the ships together. I just really liked this area quite a bit. They also have just given you right before this moment, right before this area, a really nice piece of movement tech that allows you to dash a little bit in the air. And that really, I think they use this space in a really nice way to introduce that mechanic to you. And it just opens up your move set. It opens up the world a little bit more, and the level design that's available in the Sacred River section, I thought was just really fun to go around and get a real sense of speed, and do your grinds here and do your big dashes here, and you can have these big chains of events, similar, not quite the same, but a little similar to Super Mario Odyssey, where you're able to do like all the Cappy tricks and link them together in a cool way. And I felt like you got a little bit of a sense of that, of ways of combining tricks and moves and movement tech to be able to do some really cool stuff. This was the area that I found a lot of secrets in, or found a lot of stuff that felt like it would have been a secret to me, but the developers didn't put anything there. But it was still cool to go, oh, I could get up there. I think I'd get up there if I just went to here to here to here and did this thing, and like, oh, sweet, I'm up here. There isn't anything to collect, but it was really cool that I got here. I just found that to be the most the part of the game where everything came together the best.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Yeah, I remember feeling very overwhelmed the first time like all the whales and stuff came in, and like just how like being in a situation where, and it's not this exact moment that you're talking about, but like in that game, just how well the environment would change and how beautiful it became. And just like there was something like that was really fucking powerful. Like all that
Yeah.
without doing a whole lot, the music swelling up and then being in that environment, moving around and like bouncing on the jellyfish in the Sacred River area for sure. Like all that was just fucking
And
amazing.
there are other cool places in the game. Like the game starts in this cool desert area, but it's tight and small. They want you to
Hmm.
like really learn this space, and they don't want you to explore too much because they're trying to tutorialize you on what to do. There's other parts that have uh very little solid ground. So like you kind of said, you're hopping from whale to whale, or it's something that's extremely vertical. So there's always a chance that you might fall and have to go and do all this stuff again.
Yeah,
And those bring their own pros and cons with them. But it's once I got to the Sacred River where I was like, oh, okay, this is just a big explorable space. They have lots of those little lanterns around that give you the boosts. So you could just kind of like the Pathless, the game before that, just speed through and just get a
sure.
consistent speed going as you go around this place. So it was just a place where I felt like I could really express myself through the movement tech that they put in the game, and I just thought it was the best part of the game by far.
Oh yeah. These next two I have here, I'm going to do pretty quick. I
Sure.
talked a bit about this one. The Kitsune is it's a really amazing story where you learn the origin of that character that did you wrong. That was also one of the nominees in our best character, so you can go back and listen a little bit more in that. But also just a phenomenal level design and storytelling. And the wedding is just a fun event. So you are working towards getting back into the castle as Henry, and there's basically like 3 quests you can choose to take to get your way back into it. But along the way, you're doing little odd job stuff for people that kind of continue over, and it becomes this like comedy of errors almost. So like in this party, you can go through and hook up with a chick, you can get into a fight, you can steal a bunch of food, you can go and do this. Like it is 100% one of those episodes where it's like, okay, cool. Like this led to this and this led to this. It's like ADD at its finest. It was just a fun party, really well done. Some cool camera cuts with the dances taking place. Awesome, awesome, awesome autonomy of choice on how you can kind of engage and do some stuff. Like I felt like a fucking gremlin just messing with people that whole time. And everybody's drunk. I got drunk. It was awesome. Awesome, awesome,
So
awesome.
those two moments, weren't something that I felt like that were captured well by a single like 10 to
Yeah,
15 minute YouTube video. And from what you're saying, it sounds like it's more about the buildup of all these events going together. So for me, when
100%.
I saw the wedding clip, it was
Yeah,
just somebody going, where's the priest? I don't know.
yeah.
And I got some of that comedy errors part in there, but to know that it goes much deeper than that. And for the Kitsune, I saw the boss fight and I was like, I don't know, it's kind of a cool boss fight. Like you're teaming up on him, then there's a lot of smoke that's going on. Like that's kind of cool, I guess. But here it's more about the storytelling that goes into it, and the long, the hunting of this character, I imagine,
Well,
and
yeah,
the
this
revelations that
character
you get from it.
killed your mom in front of you.
Yeah.
Fucking, you thought your brother was dead. Your dad got murdered. It's like very Kill Bill. They all have a different character that they wear as a mask, and you're hunting them down, and you have their names written on this belt. And as you kill them, you wipe their blood across their name. And the Kitsune is one that you have. And the entire time that you're hunting the Kitsune, you're getting insights to like things about it from the character. And the big unveiling comes that like this is the original Kitsune, and they've replaced it with the mask. And so it's just very powerful. And again, it's a forced forgiveness that you weren't prepared to make in a story about revenge. It's really good. But neither one of those I think carries it. And Chase, that brings us to unlocking 2 characters at once in Ball Pit.
Hey, you know what's better than playing one character in Ball Pit?
2 balls, baby.
Playing two characters in Ball Pit. This was just a big surprise to me that this was even available. Like you're
This is what
unlocking
made you
individual
message me.
characters. Yes, this is the part where I went, holy shit, Bobby, how much of Ball Pit have you played? Because you started playing before I did, I think. And then I caught up very quickly and then very much surpassed you because I got deep
Yeah.
into Ball Pit. But you're unlocking individual characters. They all play pretty differently. That's interesting. You're starting to find like favorites, and okay, I kind of like the way this plays, and okay, I've got to beat the game, or I have to beat this level with this character, and you're doing a couple of those things, and then eventually you get an upgrade or an unlock that says, Yeah, you can bring two characters into a run now. What do you mean? What does that mean? And you try it once and you go, oh, literally, I just have both of these characters and both of their special skills, like both of their like mutator kind of options, show up in the game. So you can have the shield bearer, the guy with the big shield who's able to bounce balls off his shield, but you can also have the couple who shot two separate balls for half damage. But what if I'm shooting two separate balls and also plinking them off my shield, and now I'm just getting so
It was
the
fucking
screen
crazy
is
to
just
see.
filled. Like the combinations that you can bring in. Like here's the guy who has the ball shoot out from the top of the screen instead of the bottom of the screen like everybody else does. But now you combine it with the guy who says, you know, your balls can pierce through enemies, and you go, whoa, hang on. So now I'm just shooting the balls through everything from the top down. You can really take out some scary bosses like that because you're able to, you don't have to get through the minions on the bottom of the floor. You can just hammer them from the top. Like that is super cool. The combination I ended up using quite a bit was the guy who plays the game for you
Oh
and the
yeah.
guy who plays it as a turn-based game. Because then I went, you know, I like the turn-based one. The turn-based one is interesting, but it's also like a completely different way of playing this game. It takes really long to play the game that way. What if I just had the computer control it and do it that way, and I can just put my hands off the controller and watch what's happening, or even better, watch a YouTube video and not have to play the game.
Yeah.
Um, the amount of options that are available to you when you can bring in two characters at once was a revelation in that game that went from being, oh, this is a cool game, to holy shit, this like is a real contender for game of the year for me.
Yeah.
And it was that one single moment of that unlock and just being so shocked that that was even something that the developer had considered, much less implemented. So cool.
Before we get to this next one, let's clean this up a little bit. You've not removed anything yet that you've talked
Sure.
about. What can we get rid of?
You can take off Giraffe, you can take off Sacred River. But yeah, I think those two can easily go.
Okay. So with those gone, that brings us to more ball talk with Chase, which is you are the ball.
Yeah, this is the ending of Despelote. It's pretty cool. It takes place a number of years after the main part where you're 8 years old and the World Cup stuff happening. Like that stuff's over now, and you're a teenager, and you've kind of gotten a better relationship with your mom, and you know how things are going. You've got your friends, and at one point you are back in your kind of hometown area, and you're just on this soccer field and you're kicking the ball around with friends, and it's just mostly a story point where you're just kicking the ball in a little triangle with the three friends, and just dialogues happening. And then at some point you kick the ball and it zooms into a first person perspective of the ball, and now you don't
It
have
was so
control
good.
anymore, and now you're watching your friends kick the ball around, and the camera's tumbling around, and then stops once the ball stops, and story stuff is still happening. And then at some point somebody kicks the ball really hard, and now it gets a little surreal because then the ball flies over and you get this big flyover of the area, and then it lands in some place and you see, you know, these kids playing on the street, and then they go and kick the ball, and now it flies over to this other part of the world, and you know somebody else is kicking it, and you just kind of get this really nice sense of seeing this area again that you've been exploring the whole time, previous parts of the game where you're 8 years old, but now you're seeing it from this completely different perspective. And then at some point the balls gets kicked way into the sky, and then it just kind of hangs there as this nice view of the whole city while the credits go by. It was
It
just a
was
really
really,
nice
really well done.
button.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really nice button on this experience of playing the game. I really liked how it was just this nice moment between friends, and then the game surprises you one last time and does that perspective shift and takes the control away from you, but also gives you this nice moment to just marinate in at the end of the game, and it's something that stuck with me this whole time.
That's awesome.
I think the developer commentary part is probably stronger as a moment,
Okay.
but the you being the ball is the one that I remember the most. And so personally for me, it's the one that I would keep here. If we're
You are
doing
the ball?
best bullet day. Yeah.
Okay. We will get that out of here. This next one will be a brief one too. The Don't Shoot Adventures in Arc Raiders. There's something so crazy about how this game has evolved into, hey, I'm friendly. Oh, cool. Let's do this thing, or I can help you with this. And just, there's been so many extractions that I've had in this game where I've had people that, like, I don't know their name. We don't engage on that level. We support one another. We say goodbye to each other. Have a good night. Hope you have a good raid in the future. And there's been a lot of people that have been a part of these things, and it's just really fucking cool. Like, I don't have a specific one, but I think just what this experience has been like in this game has been kind of unlike anything I expected from it. And the moments
especially that it's not like an isolated one-off. Like,
Yeah.
this is kind of how the game functions. You did mention when we were talking about Better Together on Monday that maybe it's becoming a little less like that now that people have leveled up enough their gear that they don't need to help each other as much.
Yeah.
But the fact that for a time the game was very much like this, especially for somebody like me who just watched. You did not have to watch this, and I hope you didn't. Watch Bungie's Vidoc on the relaunch of
I've
Marathon.
seen clips.
So they were talking a lot in there, and it's very much the same extraction shooter stuff of like, oh, you could totally team up in solos, but you could also kill each other. And I don't think the audience who's going to play the Bungie game is the same audience who is going to play, who has been playing Arc Raiders.
I think you're going to get maybe some Tarkov people there.
I think you are absolutely going to get people who are icing each other all the time in a game like Marathon, if they play it at all. And a lot of stuff in Marathon I thought looked pretty cool, but it's still not a game I want to play for sure. Anyway, I think that helps to just make it like this is a pretty isolated thing for these kinds of games, and it's cool that they were able to foster this kind of community.
This next one was really powerful, man. This is called Keep Up. It's from Dispatch. This is I think you probably watched a clip on this one, Chase, and to set it up a little bit, there is this big moment that you're trying to get a specific part because your character, Robert Robertson, is no longer capable of being like the Iron Man. You have an inherited suit, generational. You get fucked up at the beginning of the game. That leads you to be a dispatch agent. Invisigirl is like, basically like, we know where these fuckers are at. We're going to go get this thing. And you're like, no, you're being sloppy. It's not the right thing to do. Like, we'll figure out a better way to go. It's been dictated by the boss that we're not doing this. And all of a sudden you're closing out and all this stuff on your dispatch module starts going crazy. And you're at your house with it. You actually brought it home to work on it.
And you're also having a nice moment with Chase at that point. Chase in the game. Like, you're out on the balcony talking about, you know, the old days and how each other feel. And then yes, you're right. Like, everything starts blinking and you realize Invisigirl is way in over her head because she went against everybody's wisdom and
100%
went to this place on her own.
The other thing about Chase is he's an old man, but he's just slightly older than you are. And because he has the super speed, it has aged him drastically. And he's no longer able to be a superhero because if he does this thing, if he engages his powers, it's a death. It will kill him. And so everything's going off. Invisigirl gets pinned down. There's a lot of fucking enemies here doing this thing. The main villain's there. You find out, like, fuck, this guy's here. He wasn't supposed to be here. Like, this is bad news. And you look over and Chase looks at you and he just says, keep up. And it fucking cuts all the audio. He takes off.
Yeah, like your character, or like Aaron Paul's character, like turns around and chases in like a 3-point stance. And he's like, bye. Like, wait, what? No, don't do that. It's going to kill you. And he takes off like the Flash anyway. Yeah.
And so
saves the day, gets her out of there,
collapses,
and then like gets her to safety, but then collapses and presumably dies. I don't know.
Well, and that's like, the thing too, though, is like, this was the end of so they did 2 episodes at a time and there was a gap between it. So like, that's how the episode ended. and you just like, what the fuck? Did he just die?
Sure.
And so the next episode, there's other shit that happens. But anyway, I will just say it's really well done, very visually cool, and
like another cool moment of sacrifice in a similar way to the Gustav moment.
Yes,
but,
absolutely.
But
I just like people dying
in a different way, and pretty cool for sure.
I don't think it's my pick on here. It's really high up there, but my pick for this is the Enter the Duelist. The spectacle and the weight of that, the tone shift that happens with it, I think is really good. But we have 4 left here that I'm looking at. We have the Pizza Tommy fight from Death Stranding 2. We have unlocking 2 characters at once in Ball Pit. We have You Are the Ball from Despelote, and we have Enter the Duelist from Clair Obscure Expedition 33.
I would honestly be fine with the Duelist one. Like I think for me personally, the moment of something like you being the ball in Despelote is a very personal one for me. That was very exciting and cool for me. The ball pit one is is this very cool mechanical thing, like not from a story perspective, just pure mechanics. I thought that was really interesting in the way it changes that game completely. But I think the hearing how you've spoken about the Duelist and knowing the story stuff behind, even in just watching the clip that I watched, could tell that it's a powerful moment of both story and mechanics and the way those come together. I thought that was really cool. Well, the Pizza Tommy fight is fun, but like,
is that the middle handshake here?
I don't like that.
Okay.
I don't. I feel like it's a compromise on both. Like it's a fun scene, but I don't think that's outside of just the animation being better than the Happy Birthday scene. I think the Happy Birthday scene and the Pizza Tommy fight are basically on the same level because it's like, I don't know. It's another cute thing Kojima did. He does that all the time. This one's particularly
but
nice.
I also know that like You Are the Ball means a lot to you. I want to be fair there.
I'm planning on arguing a little harder for some of my picks later in this episode, but I think this one makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Like the Duelist makes a lot of sense for the moment of the year.
Well, congratulations to Clair Obscure Expedition 33 for one of the best moments of the year here. Again, we spent a normal show's length talking about these moments.
We knew that we have like a heavy category now. But I should go a little bit faster.
But I'll just say this: that like that's really cool that we had such profound moments to do that kind of length of conversation on.
A broad amount of really good moments, and I'm sure there were a handful that we didn't even bring up that are also very cool.
This next category is it's gone through a few evolutions here at the show. I think least moment used to be what we called it. We've had technically terrible in the past. I think that we had another category for just like,
might have even called this worst game at some point.
Worst game.
Like that doesn't really, like, that's not fair. There's so many worst games that we just don't play to begin with. So we've ended up softening this to wish I liked it more, which is, and I think that actually does change the category a little bit. These are games that we wanted to like. Maybe they're games in a series that we're a big fan of, and it just didn't live up to expectations. Maybe
like Call of Duty is not doing great this year, and I don't care. Like, I don't want that. Right. I don't wish I liked that more. I wish I liked, like, I'm
perfectly fine not giving a shit about Call of Duty.
But these are games that I think that you would argue we like. We just wish we liked them more.
Or like aspects of, certainly. Like some of these are bad games. And we wanted them to be better. Some of these games are good, but we wish
some of these are rough to put on here.
Better. Do what?
Some of these are rough to put on here. We don't want them to be here.
That's true. Let's run down the list.
Do you want to knock that one out?
Sure. I do. Yeah, I can do that. We have Assassin's Creed Shadows, Blue Prince, Dead Finger Dice, Forever Skies, Hyper Light Breaker, Is This Seat Taken, Nights in Tight Spaces, Lonely Mountains Snow Riders, Monster Hunter Wilds, Pokemon Legends ZA, Sniper Elite Resistance, and To a T.
Yeah.
I think I added like 3 games to this list, but I think you already had 1 or 2 on here. Bobby was very disappointed.
Yeah, I'll blow through a lot of these and kind of click them off here as we do it. Assassin's Creed Shadow had a strong promise. They finally got to feudal Japan, and I thought it was going to be really cool, and it just felt bland, man. Like, in between everything, it was bloated. The combat and stuff's great. The characters are fine. But
And this is after like taking a year off. Like the whole point was that we're going to take a year off. We're going to make this one right. And
Yep.
then I know a lot of people still liked the game and
Yep.
had some fun with it, but it does seem like it's just kind of another one of those. And even if it's a slightly well executed one of those, it is still just kind of another one of those. And that's really disappointing when there's been so many of them at this point. You kind of wish they would do something more.
Yeah. Dead Finger Dice. We played this on stream. I hardly have any stake in this one because we played it for an hour, but it looked cool. It had an awesome premise to it. Dice, like poker, all that stuff there with it. Just wasn't great.
No.
Forever Skies this is the one that you and I talked about where like your ship is what you're upgrading and you're flying to places to get resources and build out this really big blimp. It's got a cool premise of like going higher up. Like you can't go super low. It just felt fucking bland. And like it had potential to be like, it wanted to be a Subnautica, but in the air. And it just got close at times, but fell flat. Hyperlight Breaker is a tragic one here for me, man. Like I wanted this to be better because Hyperlight Drifter had such a pedigree. I like Heart Machine. This seemed like a cool promise and it came out really struggling, and so much so that they've stopped all development on it and it will never hit 1.0. I'll get rid of this one too. Lonely Mountain Snow Riders. We talked about this briefly. It was an earlier in the year game. I was just excited for like, hey, maybe there'll be a cool snowboarding game or something, you know, like back like late 90s, early 2000s. That was a fun genre that I kind of miss. And this one had a cool look to it. And it just felt pretty generic at the end of the day. So that cleans off a good chunk here. That's 5 of them off the board.
Yeah, I think we could also cut to a T as well. Like that is one we just mentioned earlier. It's not that we don't like it. It's just I wish I liked it a little bit more. I wish I liked it enough and clicked with it enough to get through all of it. But I liked the bits that I played. I should really go back and finish it. I'm sure it's not a very long game, but I don't think it was disappointing enough to me to stay on this category.
Yeah.
Somewhat similar, I think, is The Seat Taken. You know, that was one that was really excited by the way it looked. Initially excited by the way it played.
I thought you were pretty high on that.
I was playing through the demo, had a fantastic time. I thought that was going to be an awesome game. And then the more I played it, the more it did just kind of feel like the same thing over and over again. I didn't feel like it changed enough of the formula. The thing that really bugged me is when I tried to like I wanted something to just get everybody out of their fucking seats and let me try it again. And when I hit reset, it reset the entire set of levels and not just the level I was on. So I think there were a couple things that bugged me about that. Playing it on touchscreen, I did not like it should work great on a touchscreen, and for some reason it just didn't quite feel very good on a touchscreen. So there were a handful of things that turned me off on that game and not finished it. You finished it, right?
Oh yeah, I beat it.
Yeah, and you enjoyed it, but and so that's kind of the reasons. Like,
but when I beat it, dude, I was ready for it to be done.
Oh, I'm sure, but you ended up playing through all of it and enjoying it generally, and I think there's other games that are more deserving of this award than is these. So I think we can cross that one off.
I'm going to get rid of Sniper Elite Resistance here. This was supposed to be DLC at one point in time, and they just converted it into a standalone game. It is very much just more of this, and that's fine. It did not feel as interesting as the last Sniper Elite proper. The gun stuff's still cool in it, but you're playing as a secondary character. It's a whole different part of it. It's fine.
It's tough when they set the stakes pretty low. It's tough to get that disappointed with something, which is why I think some of these other games have a much higher bar to clear, and they didn't, and that's disappointing to us. Tell me about Monster Hunter.
Man, this is the one for me. This is the pick. I had hundreds of hours in Monster Hunter. I have wilds listed here. But with Monster Hunter World, I had so much, like hundreds of hours in that game. I just checked as you were talking. I have 10 hours on Monster Hunter Wilds, and it was a bit of a technical mess when it came out. It was not optimized. They're still doing it, trying to figure it out. Most recently, like one of the presidents of Capcom or somebody working on this or had developer within Capcom basically said, please come back and try playing again. We've been working on it. Please come back and do this. Like it has been a very tepid response. It's sold fine, but man, the promise of like this big world with dynamic weather and potentially like public events and other people being out there, like this wasn't going to be an MMO, but it felt like it would be a lot more alive. And they continually fuck up how you play with people. Like it's way too hard to get into matches with other people and do this. And this was even more complicated than World was. And it just feels.
What was the Palamute one called?
Rise,
yeah. And Rise you liked as well, like not as much as World, but you liked that one.
Yeah, I liked Rise a lot.
Problems. But yeah, it seems like this was the one that was supposed to be, Rise was cool, but that was the one that was like on the Switch. So like it didn't look as good and we're kind of regressing a little bit, but like this is the sequel to World. This is gonna be the fucking one.
Yeah,
and
dude.
It seems like Falling Flat is definitely,
and I'm not alone on that. Like it's I think it's actually, let me double check that really quick, because I think this is still at, if you go to the store page on Steam for, that's World, not Wilds. Let me go to Wilds here. Sorry. I have 34 hours on Wilds. I have 10 on World, because I played most of that on Xbox, but I did also get it on PC. But if you go to the store,
Bobby loves that game. He played 24 more hours than he thought. That's a whole day more of playing that game, Bobby.
It's up to mixed. That also includes some of the playtests for it too.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the grand scheme of things, this should be a game of the year winner.
Yeah.
If you look at prior years, this should be a game of the year winner. And it's
well, Bobby, about that. I think we have a couple other games to talk about. Let's quickly talk about Blueprints. Blueprints is a game that I think we both found very interesting and satisfying early on, and we're making notes and having a great time, as we mentioned, for moment of the year. Like finding those moments of breakthroughs was awesome, and you got a lot of those moments, especially early in the game when everything's still fresh and new. And I know eventually for both of us, we got a little weighed down with the roguelike aspect of it and feeling like we hit a wall in progress, that we had to wait for random things to happen in the game for us to be able to make progress. And when the randomness didn't line up, we just felt like we were wasting a bunch of days. Eventually, I know that we decided to pool our resources, and that helped us make a few more breakthroughs and gave me a bit of a second wind, at least, where it was like, oh, okay, well, Bobby figured that out. Now I can implement that in my game. I can do this and I can do that. All right, okay, cool. I'm back on track. And then eventually I got to another point, and as did you, of going, yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of stuck again. You ended up putting this down before I did.
I put it down because I thought that the RNG was just not fair.
Yeah, absolutely. I tend to agree with that. And it wasn't until I dug into it a little bit more, listening to other people's experiences and learning that I was actually really fucking close to at least credits, not the end of the game, because there is so much more you can do once you hit credits. But knowing that I was really close to credits, and that really all that was stopping me was, like you said, just a little bit of RNG going my way. And I didn't really want to continue brute forcing it until I got the RNG that I needed to do the thing that.
The other thing too is after you get credits and the game officially opens up, you don't get to start the game at that point. You have to continually get back to credits. So you have to have all that shit line up again on a run to get to that point again. So like you can't.
And some of that gets easier because there are permanent unlocks and things that you can do to make your runs a little bit more consistent. But you're right. It is still annoying. The thing that I thought was really strong about that game, being the roguelike part at the beginning of the game, ended up, at least for me, really holding it back near the end of the game. I know that some people go, I don't know what you're talking about. The roguelike stuff always was cool to me. And I go, I don't know what game you're playing, because I got immensely frustrated at some point and just had to put it down, despite still leaving that experience thinking Blueprints is awesome. I had a really great time with it generally, and it's going to be represented in my top 10. I can promise you that. But it is still a game that I wish I liked more, because I feel like it should be my game of the year with a bullet, and it's not.
Yeah, but I mean, hearing other people's joy is also like, why can't I have that with this? Like, I should
totally. Even so, I think the other 3 games on this list are probably stronger than Blueprints. I'm fine taking it off. All right. These two, I feel your pain on Monster Hunter, but I can't. I don't feel it, intimately because I didn't get to experience that. We both have experienced these video games and their prior iterations that we both loved. You talk about Monster Hunter World being
I
a
know.
game of the year. Fights in Tight Spaces was our game of the year easily.
Yeah.
The year that it came out. We've been a big fan of that game. We've been a big champion of that studio. We've had people from that studio on as we've talked to them about that game.
We actually
and
played
about this new game.
We played this game with them.
Yeah. And I think there's some really cool things in Nights with Tight Spaces.
And I'm not saying I dislike this game by having it here. But to be clear, like I don't dislike Nights in Tight Spaces whatsoever.
Right. But every minute I put into Nights in Tight Spaces, I thought I should be playing fights instead. Like, what if I was just playing fights? And it seems like the world and even the developer kind of agrees with me, because they went back and they put in even more stuff for Fights in Tight Spaces, and we continue to just play that game. Like, we played Fights in Tight Spaces more this year than I think we've played Nights, which I think is really saying something when they put out a brand new video game. It's tough. There's cool stuff in here.
Yeah.
But a lot of it felt like a lot of it ended up being a cool test of stuff that we could refine and bring back into Fights in Tight Spaces and have that be better. And it
has been getting some recent very positive reviews. I think that the reception of that is not unique to us, is what I will say. And I think James even like talked about that a bit when he was on the show with us about like, we're trying to do a few things like, hey, the reason James came on to play with us is like they were improving from feedback they got, and he wanted to show some of that stuff off. And I think Fights was a breakout hit. You said it really well. It certainly was a game that meant a lot to us here on the show and continues to mean a lot to us here on the show. But
and we've also talked about how hard it is to make a sequel to.
I mean, I think I got to put Monster Train on here probably the more that we talk about it, like
maybe, but like I never had a problem. I didn't have. I was always having fun playing Monster Train, even though I was still thinking like I should be playing the original Monster Train when we were playing Monster Train 2. But I was still having fun playing Monster Train 2, and I was having a lot less fun in Nights in Tight Spaces, despite wanting to like it more. And that's the really disappointing part to me. Again, I think there's some really cool ideas in there, and as the name of the category goes, I really wish I liked this game more because I loved the first game so much. All right, let's talk a little bit about Pokemon. We love Legends Arceus. We were
we love Pokemon.
We love Pokemon for sure, and modern Pokemon has been in a weird spot. I think there's been a number of the modern mainline games that have been disappointments, even outside the modern mainline games. Like the new Pokemon Snap was also kind of disappointing. So for Arceus to come in, change the way you play the game, change how you think about Pokemon, and to that end up being a big success that we both really liked. It was pretty high on both of our game of the years when it came out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like, wow, what a revitalization of Pokemon as a franchise. And as Pokemon has continued to not have great mainline series entries recently, I think we were both extremely excited to see a new Legends game, what they were going to do. Now it's in a modern setting. We're back in Kalos, so we're in the kind of France area. Mega Evolution's back. That was a fan favorite thing. They're moving to this real-time battling. We spent a lot of time talking about that, both the trepidation we had going into it, but then finding it interesting and getting more out of it. But once we started actually playing the game, it's just not that good.
It's not. Like I think this is it, dude. Like I really do. I'm not going to pre-order any more Pokemon games, period.
That's smart.
Like,
don't pre-order any games, kids.
Violet was fucking terrible. Like, that is an awful game. The what was the not silver, but Brilliant Diamond, garbage.
Yeah, those remakes were not very good.
The further we got away from Sword and Shield, the less we loved it. I still think that's the strongest thing that they've put out on modern hardware.
And that's sad because I don't think that was all that great either.
But
Especially as they've continued to add DLC and stuff to that, I think it got worse and worse.
And this has nothing to do with me like getting older whatsoever. I think it has everything to do with Nintendo being this lazy with their most profitable and loved franchise.
I mean, laziness is tough. It's because it's a huge franchise at this point, and it has so many moving parts that it's really difficult to turn that behemoth and say we're going to do something different here, because it
Yep.
has to affect, the card game, the anime, all the other stuff that goes on. Now you would like them to go, well, fuck all that shit. Like we're gonna make all our money here. It's Pokemon, but like we need to make sure the mainline games are the things that are good. And we're in a space that it's just tougher to do it, which is why I think we've gotten so many other kind of monster collecting games from indie studios and other studios that have found success because they get to be a little bit more nimble and try some new things and do some cool stuff. I'm with you. Like I think it's very easy to look at people like you and me and go, "Oh, you guys are just those Gen Oneers who just want the old style of Pokemon game." Like, especially you, Chase, the guy who talks about playing these ROM hacks and just like playing old Game Boy Advance games that somebody's just tweaked a little bit. And I'll be like, yeah, you're right. I generally do like those games. But again, Legends Arceus was a brand new thing.
It was great.
And we loved it. We
great.
thought it was awesome. Like they tried something new and it hit and it just needed to be refined. And that's what this game was supposed to be. And I just don't really like it. I think it has all sorts of problems. I do not like the real-time combat. I do not like the city. I feel like it is both too open and too restrictive. I do not like that there are these wild zones, like little tiny parks of wild zones where most of the time you're not finding Pokemon at all, and then in these tiny little parks you're finding Pokemon.
The currency system's fucked with how you have to the whole thing fucking feels forced.
The day-night cycle feels too fast, and I do not like the idea of having to catch in the daytime and fight in the nighttime. It feels a little too cordoned off. I think the story stuff isn't all that great. I think there's just a lot of stuff that isn't working for me in this game, and I'm baffled as to why, because we liked Arceus. They had it, and they somehow fumbled it. And I don't get it.
Is this it? Is this the way it looks?
For me, I would say it's ZA. Like ZA.
I can get on board with that, dude.
This is ridiculous to me. If you feel so strongly about Monster Hunter,
no. This is the handshake, I think, for sure. Like to the point where I'm not pre-ordering Pokemon games anymore, dude. Like that's how bad I got burned here. So
I'm even deeper into the ROM hacks culture at this point, because that is where I feel like Pokemon is both, that warm nostalgic hug, but also doing cool new innovative things like Pokemon Emerald Rogue. That's the one. Like that the ROM hackers are also doing really cool shit now that is innovative in a way that modern Pokemon is not innovating. So lots of disappointment there. Wish we liked it more.
I'm going to ask a favor.
Yeah.
I'm going to go say goodnight to my wife. I'm going to have you. Do you mind explain? Well, vamp and just explain what Touchy Feely is.
Sure.
Give me like 1 minute, maybe 1.5 minutes. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it. I'll handle it. I will hold down the fort.
Thanks, man.
All right,
be right back,
guys. It's just me. It's just me and you. Bobby's not here. We need to get all touchy feely. Touchy feely is our category where these are games. We've also struggled with this category as well. We see the Game Awards saying something like Games for Impact, and they don't really say what that means. Sometimes it's about environmentalism, sometimes it's about racism, sometimes it's about political stuff, and we think it's important to talk about these kinds of games, especially from like a narrative standpoint. I think there are some games that are trying new things. They're taking us to new places. They're introducing us to new kinds of people or underrepresented kinds of people. And I think these are important stories to get out here, but there are also just games that are more about emotions and more about tugging at your heartstrings. And we wanted to have we wanted to have a category that was a list of games that were a little bit more personal feeling to us, something that moved us in a way, and you can talk about what being moved is in a lot of different ways. But I think this, to me, this feels like a more authentic version of what the Game Awards Games for Impact is, because
Yeah.
I still think that feels very nebulous and also just weird coming from somebody like Jeff Keighley, who I don't know if he has a soul, so I don't know how he ends up talking about games like that have souls. But for us, normal soul having people, that's what I think of when I think of the Touchy Feely of the year. This is a game that moved us in some way.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot to celebrate here. I think these are games that sometimes get assumed to be like cozy games, but that's not always the case. And I think it's games that make you practice empathy at times, or fear, frustration. Like there's a lot that goes into it. Like we've talked about unpacking a lot in like our personal like experiences when we were like packing up shit in our life and what we put in the box and what we did with that. So I think that there's games that sometimes force you to hold a mirror up a bit or reflect back on things in your life that you have an emotional connection to. And I love that.
But we also had games like Venba, which is like, that's an experience that neither of us have had. Like that is a different kind of culture. That is a different kind of relationship that maybe we can relate to a little bit, but it's
Sure.
not necessarily something that we've experienced. So, but I think having those voices represented in these games and still feeling something, that Venba was a game about family first and foremost, and then cooking second.
Yeah.
And despite not really having that experience of cooking those kinds of dishes, I did have the experience of family, and that was something that moved me a lot. Like, it's a
Sure.
game that once I finished, I was like, I need to call my mom.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And that's huge. And I think a lot of the games in this category should move us in that similar way
Agree.
of making us feel something, making us feel strong emotions. So that's where this kind of came from. Bobby, would you like to run down our
I
list of
would,
numbers?
man. We got 5 games here. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called Despelote. Next one up is a game called Light Up the Town. Another game we've talked about on the show, South of Midnight, Split Fiction, and a game called Wonder Stop. I got a few on here. Allow me to pave the way forward for you in another area here. So,
Okay.
Light Up Town, I'm playing right now. This just came out like a week ago. You play as Bean. You're a little marmot. You are in a new town and you are living with your dad. There, you have a photo of your mom. I have not beaten this. I think it's like a 3.5 hour game. I have a feeling that there is something that happened with your mom that has impacted how you as a character approach the holidays. And something that your dad did was always decorate. And this is basically Christmas light power wash simulator, but adorable and cute.
Mhm.
And you are to go through this town and throw a bunch of lights up. And it's a really fun game. You get a bunch of different things in your bag that you can use to decorate with. But the reason this connected with me so much is, one, Christmas is my favorite holiday, but it was really challenged for a long time in my life, basically for the last 20 years, because most of my professional life I've worked in retail. And finding a way to want to celebrate when Christmas trees goes up in October at the mall, and you're kind of dealing with the ugliness of people during that time of the year. Like, it really,
how do you untangle yourself from that
man.
really
And
terrible aspect of the holiday season to the really warm parts of the season?
but this game is so laid back, and like, I'm just going around and decorating these houses for people and watching their meters go up, and there's very smooth, minimal instrumental Christmas songs playing in the background. And it's such a fucking heartfelt game. And it just made me feel Like this is like helping other people bring joy through like the things of Christmas. Like I used to drive around, like my family would just like literally like, let's go look at Christmas lights. And we would drive around town looking at people's Christmas lights. And it's made me think about that stuff. So I've had some emotional connections with just like falling back in love with Christmas after working out. I've been out of retail for, for almost 4 years now, but there's my wife and I both worked retail. And so like holidays and all that was always kind of tarnished by it. And it took us a long time. It still does take a lot of effort for us to really get like focused on that stuff. So Light Up the Town, very cool. Won't win here, but a late edition with a lot of heart for sure. And then I'll talk about South of Midnight. So this game opens up with some severe trauma. There is a flood that comes in. You're down in the New Orleans area, I believe is where it is, and people are kind of hesitant to take things serious when there's an alert from like a hurricane or a storm. And long story short, you watch your house get swept away due to a flood with your mother in it, but you're holding out that she's okay, and you're trying to get to your mom. And you're encountering all these folklores and stories there, but each one of these, you get a story of trauma about like these monsters are just misunderstood people where life was cruel to them, and you are helping mend wounds, weave wounds back together because you're a weaver, and so you're bringing peace, and you're weaving these stories back together, and you're getting to the truth. And you're seeing the humanity in people that society has moved past while you're still trying to uncover stuff about your mom and yourself and who you are and what your heritage is and why people have treated you a certain way and how you do it. And I think there's a lot about identification in this. There's a lot about growing up with expectations, because you were an athlete and kind of like failed there in some pretty big ways, and you're dealing with those pieces of it. It's just very fucking cool, man. Like it does such a good job of like handling the weight of some of these things, which are really dark, and like still making you like showcase empathy and forgiveness, which I think are big themes on this stuff and needed with everything going on right now. But very powerful, very well done. There's some good songs that go with it, as I've called out on our style category, but I know that there's also
I'd leave it on here right now because I think really there's only two real options to.
I think there's only one here, based off.
I think South of Midnight makes a strong argument. I would keep that on here. I think something like Split Fiction, the story is fine. It does pull on some heartstrings, but I think that's a game that we probably have more relatability to just because we got to play it together. And I think it's much more about, our friendship more than it is anything that the game is telling from a story perspective. Hey, this character has a sick dad. This character has, a sister that was lost. And I think they tell some halfway decent stories there. That's not the issue for me, but it's just like that's a game that I remember fondly and was touched by because I got to play with my best friend. And
it was
we
really
got
fun
to experience that together. I don't know much of anything about Wonder Stop.
Wonder Stop, this has a pedigree of people from other really big projects that made it, and this is the one where you are like a warrior that was undefeated, and you get beaten once, and you develop severe PTSD and anxiety from it, to where you can't even pick up your sword, and you go running away from it, and you get lost, and you end up coming to this like bus stop tea shop, and this dude sits down there, and he's basically like this hulking man. He's just like, I think tea makes people feel better. Would you like some tea? And you're like, don't fucking talk to me. And he's like, well, why don't you try making tea if you don't like it? And so you end up having this place where what you're dealing with is damaged goods. It's a lot like Seafarer, where you're meeting people at a very significant point in their life for a very significant reason, and you have to listen to them. And you have Spiritfarer. Sorry, sorry. Yeah, I think I called that something wrong. I did not finish this, but I will tell you that the people you meet, like there's like a cosplaying father that's trying to connect with his son, and his son's growing out of that relationship. And there's people who are, again, riddled with their own shortcomings, doubts, yourself included. And it's about this practice of grace and forgiveness of yourself and belief in yourself. And I mean, it's absolutely like on paper, probably like the biggest contender in this category, but I didn't get through all of it. So I don't really know. Like, I can't confidently say if it sticks the landing there, like the way like the Spirit Fairy did when you end up being like in
Yeah.
hospice and shit. But I think it's really cool. The loop is really fun. You're growing ingredients to make tea for people, and you have to learn about them to understand like what tea they need and like how to help them and work with them and learn about yourself. But I do not see the little bit that I've read up on Despelote and its cultural and actual like real life influence.
Yeah.
This is a tough one to ignore, considering this like this is such a I personally got from watching the commentary and some of the other stuff for it in preparation for this evening. There is a cathartic element to this for the developer. And culturally, like we talked about with other games, like we don't know what it's like. Like, how could we? And I don't think that like we understand this, but like you especially, you have such a special connection to sports. And I think it's a lot of like how you approach this show. I know that your family also has a very deep connection to sports. And so I think that like there is something here that I can understand and appreciate that like you can connect to without even being from that place and still have the celebration and understand that like, you know, sport is universal. I mean, it's a global thing. Like you don't have to speak the language. You don't have to have the culture to play the sport. And I think that's really cool. And I think that just going back to where you came from is also like pretty powerful, and to like be like, this is the park where I played, and put that into a game. Like, I don't think there's anybody that has put something that is that personal, you know?
Yeah, it's like this is you hear about authorship, and we think about people like Hideo Kojima, and people go, "Oh, he made that video game," and like, yeah, I mean, he did with also a giant team of people who were putting a lot of their own experiences in that game as well. Like he's just like a larger than life figure, so we kind of give
Yeah.
it to him most of the time. But there are lots of indie games that are made by one or two or a really small group of people, and Despelote is one of those really small groups. But it's a game that maybe more than any other game that I've played does feel like having a conversation with one person
Mm-hmm.
about one point of time in their life. This is not a completely autobiographical story. The developer even talks about in their kind of in-game commentary that I aged up the character from like I was 4 at this time, but I wish I was 8 because I would have retained more of this stuff. So I
Yeah.
aged the character up here so I could have more vivid memories to play on as we're doing the game here. But it's it's a game about a sport I don't really care about. I don't give a shit about soccer or football. Um, and and the World Cup has never been something that's interested me, but I understand that it's like you said, it's a huge thing for a bunch of people, and I can relate to
Yeah.
that. But there is so much a story that even though a lot of it is about soccer, it's a lot about a country and the country pinning its hopes on this soccer team. It is so much about that, but it's also so much about just this kid
Yeah.
and growing up and the relationship with his parents, the relationship with his sister, the relationship he has with the kids around him. I like the way that this game handles time skips to give you different dates, and the soccer is a great way of being able to pinpoint or to give you like a sense of time to go, okay, oh, this stage of the World Cup is here, or this qualifier for the World Cup is here, so I see how time is progressing, but I can also get a sense of that based on it's my sister's birthday today, and I'm supposed to go do this, and it tells really
It feels
personal
like a
stories.
documentary.
It does. In many ways, it does feel like a documentary about this time,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of told through the lens of this 8-year-old boy. And I really like that in the game, you can just walk up to the TVs and they're playing game footage.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can just watch this really grainy, tiny game footage. But you can do that because the game does have like a time system that's going on. So you can like look down at your watch because your mom says, "Hey, I'm dropping you off at this park. I'll see you in 15 minutes." And it's not really 15 minutes. It's like video game 15 minutes, but you're running around and you can take a look at your watch, and then you can put your arm back down. So you can either go play in the park, or if you wanted to, just go up to this electronics store and they've got TVs in the window and you just can watch the football game as it goes on. I think there's a lot of really cool touches that, to bring it back around, it just felt like having a conversation with one person,
Mhm.
and they're telling a story that I wasn't familiar with and that wouldn't normally matter to an American. But hearing somebody kind of tell their own story and seeing why this period of time, this event for this country, this family, this person was so galvanizing to who they are. I thought that was really cool, and it made me feel something more than any other game did this year.
Yeah.
I think South of Midnight is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't care about the video game that is South
Yeah.
of Midnight. I look at that
Yeah.
video game and I go, that is a third person action game, and it looks like all the other third person action games, and I don't play any of those either. But the part that does matter to me is that representation, that talking about that setting, that mystical realism. That I feel like some video games do mystical realism, but they don't do mystical realism in this way. Something that is authentic more to that Southern culture. We got
Yeah.
Norco a couple of years ago that also
That really
was
did it,
another
yeah.
game that's like, okay, that game kind of feels like the South, but it's also like a sci-fi thing that doesn't really feel like the South. It feels like it's just kind of touching on that to tell a different story. And I'm not saying not to put Norco down. I think it does a really amazing job with that. But
Yeah.
South of Midnight really feels like it is some authentic, let's uncover this whole tradition of storytelling and people and events that we don't get to hear about in video games. And I think that's also really important. So I kind of feel like this is a bit of a coin flip. Obviously, personally, Despelote
No,
for me
man,
is the
I
one
think this is Despelote.
wins.
Like, we haven't talked about this really, and I hate to like shift momentum briefly, but there is an ongoing strike with
Yeah, that's really unfair to South of Midnight. The developer is not out there,
and I'm not
supplying AI to Israel.
No,
or whatever.
And that's not
it
what
is
I'm.
Just a publishing thing.
The thing I'm going to say. This is why I'm saying it. They announced at the Game Awards that this is coming out somewhat soon to PS5, and I was going to just allude that like I think there's a really cool story here to experience at some point in time for you, and it sounds like it'd be on a platform that you would have access to if things ever get to a point where you can play these games.
Yeah, I
again.
mean it's still published by Microsoft, so being on a different platform does not fix the issue. But yes, it is one step closer to being something I'm more willing to experience.
I mean, maybe like watch some cutscenes and just like not fuck with the game at all. Like I think that
Certainly.
probably does the gig here.
And it has, like from even just the trailers I saw before the game came out. That's the part that excited me about the game most, is the characters that it's showing off, the story that it's telling, the setting that it displays. And like I said, then it goes into gameplay and I go, oh nope, don't want to play that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it plays great. It's just those are not the kinds of games I like playing.
Well, congratulations to Despelote for being the Touchy Feely Game of the Year. A well-deserved win there. And that leads us to our next big category that is new to the show. We do these every now and again where we kind of rotate some new stuff in here. And this is one this year. It's called Chase's Best Hack. Chase, what is this all about?
Yeah, this is my individual category. You had your Wabi Sabi last episode that was about early access games or games with demos, games that weren't quite finished yet. And for me, as I referenced as we talked about Pokemon Legends ZA, I've enjoyed more ROM hacks. I've been getting deeper into that. You're a
hack slut.
I download quite a few of them. like other video games.
Yeah, you have a separate
many.
wheel.
Playing is a whole different thing. But I did find time to play a handful of hacks this year, and I thought some of them were really cool and worth mentioning. These are not games that all came out this year. I think actually only one of them came out.
These are games that you played for the first time this year, correct?
Even that's a little
Okay.
mostly yes,
Okay.
but these are hacks that I play, ROM hacks that I played in 2025, and I thought they were worth talking about and saying which one was my favorite. So we have here Fire Emblem Sacred Echoes, Pokemon Emerald Sea Glass, Pokemon Lazarus, and Pokemon Vega Minus. Okay. Pokemon Vega Minus is a game that I kind of have played before. I played Pokemon Vega, which was the
Hmm.
original version of it. That hack was really fucking hard, and I ended up beating it by just brute forcing and over leveling and doing everything that you needed to do. Eventually, though, the developer of that hack did go back, or that author of that hack did go back and make a Vega Minus, which tunes it down a little bit and makes it a little easier to play. This one has a bunch of Fakemon in it, a bunch of like
I
completely made
remember
up new
this one.
Pokemon, and I really like it. I think it's a not necessarily a very good story, but it's I think it's a mechanically really nicely playing Pokemon game. It looks nice. It has some of the better Fakemon I have played with. They don't just look. It's
They
not
look good.
obvious that like these Pokemon look like garbage. Like somebody actually went out and did the work. Like they have nice shading on them. They feel like part of the world. You even get some new evolutions for old Pokemon. I really like. Is it called? Uh, it's like a new Girafarig, and I know it's weird because they also Game Freak also then made a new Girafarig um, evolution, but I really like the one that's in this one. I think it's called Farigiraf,
For
but
Rigoraph?
yeah, that might be the one that Game Freak came up with though. I forgot the
Oh
names of all these
no.
things, which just complicates things further. But there's a Dunsparce evolution that I think is really cool in Vega Minus. So there's just lots, and plus there are just like completely brand new Fakemon as well that I think look really good. That's a cool game. Um, Pokemon Emerald Sea Glass we played. So I guess I got to talk about Lazarus first. Lazarus is a new game from 2025. It had a demo that came out more like the later, like the three quarters of the way through the year, maybe something like that.
I can
We
find
both
out.
played we both played that demo and thought it was really cool. I really like the art style here, where they're kind of going. We've talked about this on the show before, but it's kind of like a Pokemon Gold and Silver style, even though it's on the GBA. And I thought that was just a really cool look for all the Pokemon. And Lazarus takes place in a completely new area that's kind of Greek inspired. I think it just does some really cool stuff, and that demo was really really nice. And so while we waited for the 1.0 version, which eventually did come somewhat recently, actually, I went back and I played one of hack the hacks the hack author's previous titles, which was Pokemon Emerald Sea Glass, which is a which is Pokemon Emerald, but with that same cool art style that we were talking about and really liking from Lazarus. And it just does Emerald, but in that art style with a couple of new bells and whistles on it too. And as somebody who's never played Emerald before, that was a really cool experience to play Emerald with this really amazing looking art style that most hacks just would not go to the effort of making something that cool.
Lazarus was August that you talked
Okay.
about it.
The demo for Lazarus was August, but the actual game came out I think late November. Um, so then there's Lazarus. Lazarus actually did come out in late November. I've played a little bit of it, but not further than I've gotten in the demo. So I still feel the same way I do from the demo, which is this game seems really awesome. They've added in a bunch of stuff. I think it even has most, if not all, of the mega evolutions from ZA. Like that's how quickly they're able to implement some of this stuff, like making sprites of mega Victory Bell, which is pretty cool that somebody is doing that work that quickly. But the winner here is Fire Emblem Sacred Echoes. This is not a particularly new hack, but it is just an incredible hack
This one
of
really had
Fire
a
Emblem.
profound impact on you.
It did. I am such a huge fan of Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia, which came out on the 3DS, and which is a remake of Fire Emblem Gaiden, the second ever Fire Emblem game. And that game is incredible. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and the more I've gone back to it, the more I'm solidified in that opinion.
Sure.
So to see a hack that said, "Well, what if we took all that really cool stuff that they did in the 3DS game, and what if we found a way to bring that into the really cool sprite-based artwork of Fire Emblem: The Blazing Sword and Fire Emblem: Sacred Stones and that kind of stuff that were on the GBA? And what if we marry those two up?" And what results is this incredibly polished hack. You see when you're making ROM hacks of things, it's so easy to cut corners because most of the work's been done for you. You know, the Pokemon sprites are already there. The Fire Emblem sprites are already there in many aspects. You know, the map design. We can just pull these assets, we can do this stuff, and it's fine. Like we're playing, we're just moving the pieces around. And this hack said, nah, what if we just made like brand new pieces for all this stuff? Like all the assets are new and cool, but they also feel like they bring in the essence of what you saw from Shadows of Valentia on the 3DS, but they've miniaturized it into this experience on the GBA. Uh, I think it's just a really well done hack. It's so polished. It's amazing how many mechanics they have brought over from the 3DS version into this GBA version that would not have had that on those other GBA games. It's a real achievement of ROM hacking, and
Sure.
I fear that as one of the early Fire Emblem ROM hacks I played, it's kind of all downhill from here. All the other ones that
Yeah,
I'm going to
you're
play, I'm going to go,
fucked.
well, this isn't as good as Sacred Echoes, and that's going to be really unfair to a lot of ROM hacks. I started the show with a showstopper, but it truly is a fantastic game, and I think it's worthy to put it in the same conversation as Shadows of Valentia. So even though that 3DS game will always be my ride or die number one, this is right up there with it. It does a lot of really cool stuff.
Hell yeah, man. I'm glad that you're finding some peace in these games. And I appreciate you found a way to bring him in here to continue the conversation at Game of the Year for. I think that's fun for sure.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Fire Emblem Sacred Echoes. You are Chase's best hack, you son of a bitch. That brings us to another category that is not the first time we've talked about this, Chase, but it is a Strand game.
The second time we've talked about this.
Still stranding. What the fuck does this mean?
Yeah, that is a great question. This was originally a joke because Death Stranding came out and Kojima was talking about how about this being a Strand game. This is like a whole new genre of game, a Strand game, and of course his game was the only game that he counted as a Strand game, and we joked around a little bit with that and
Sure.
thought of other games that could have potentially been a Strand game. I believe like Mario Maker, one of the Mario Makers was a Strand game, and we found ways of justifying, well, what counts as a Strand game and what does being a Strand game mean, and playing with that definition. And now that Death Stranding 2 is out, came out this year, it felt like a good time to revisit this and go,
Yeah.
what is a Strand game, and was Death Stranding 2 on the beach actually the best Strand game, or were there other games that we think are better as this definition? So I guess very very quickly, what I consider a Strand game, or at least the basics of a Strand game, and we can discuss what else it means to be a Strand game, is that this is a generally single player game, or a game that you can play solo mostly,
Yeah.
and yet has elements of multiplayer baked into it, or you're able to bring in some multiplayer influence where it enhances the single player experience as you play it. I think very very basically that is like the foundation of what this is. And then you could layer all sorts of other things on top of it, of like, well, does this count? Does that count? I think it should be this. I think it should be that. And I think the fun of this category is us going to try to justify why these nominees
You're going to
exist.
have to help me out with one of these, but
Okay.
I only
You
have
got 4 games.
I have one of these 4, so I will just speak and bow out of this wild place.
Okay. What do you got?
Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a Strand game. As I mentioned earlier, when I spoke about this game, I said the whole purpose of this is for those who come after. And so, in theory, everything about the expeditions in themselves are for other people. And while this is a very single player focused game, the intentionality here is that it is for those who come after. And the idea is that you're doing all this work, these sacrifices, to let that next expedition, if you fail to do it, go just a bit further. Or if you are successful, stop the gomage altogether. So I feel that this is a Strand game and it should stand proud next to these other Strand games, but I don't think it wins this category.
Yeah, I mean, my argument is that if each other player was leading like their own individual expedition, and the
They do
expedition
though.
that you play, you're talking about characters. I'm talking about players.
Oh, yes.
So like at the an example would be in Near Automata.
Mm-hmm.
There is, at the end of that game, you I can't remember exactly what happens, but you're in like the top down twin stick shooter part of it, and you have the option to, like, you get help from other players, and they, like, their experience, even though this is a completely single player game, other players, like, ships come in and they will take down enemies for you, and you get the option of, I think it's like deleting your save data to allow your ship to also be part of the ones that get sent out to other players. So you can help other players by sacrificing your own save data, or you can be selfish and go, no, I don't want to help other people.
Yeah, I'm not going to go and do that.
Clair Obscura doesn't really have that. Like the experience that you have playing that game is the same experience anybody's going to have playing that game.
That's
and
fine.
Whatever you do in your game doesn't change the way that they play their game. I get what you're talking about. Yeah. Like from the actual character's perspective, from the actual game's lore perspective, the strands that one expedition leaves for the next.
Yeah,
totally get that.
Okay.
I think Kojima would argue that Clair Obscur is not a Strand game.
He would argue a lot against Clair Obscur based on how quickly he left the Game Awards.
Well, that's very true. That's a man who is not a big fan of Clair Obscur.
No. Chase, can you please explain to me why Peak is a Strand game?
Peak's a little tough because Peak is a multiplayer game.
Big time.
Yeah. Also, are we online still?
Yeah.
Something might have flickered just on my end then.
We're good.
Anyway, I think Peak is just generally a multiplayer game. And I think it's really hard to justify it as a Strand game, but when I guess specifically back to When I Died. And the way that you continue to help somebody after death, the way that you continue to play the game even while you're not literally playing the game, I find to have elements of Strand-ness in it. I also don't think this is a perfect one either. I think this probably does not.
I was just like, that's like a fucking multiplayer game, man. What's going on here? It is just
kind of a multiplayer game. Like I don't think it quite counts, but I think it's closer than playing Mario Kart World together, right? Like that's just a multiplayer game. But like at least Peak feels like, I don't know, we're all kind of working together to help each other to achieve a different, a better outcome. There's elements of that in there. I think these last two are better options.
Oh, well, the question is Blueprints a better Strand game than Death Stranding? That's really what it comes down to.
I mean, Death Stranding has the word Strand in it, right? Like it's the father of the Strand genre.
It is the Strand. It's the OG Strand.
The idea that you're putting down infrastructure. You're building the roads in your game, and the roads are showing up in somebody else's game. That you put down this post box in your game, and it shows up in somebody else's game and helps them out. It makes their journey a little bit easier. I told you, Bobby, I think offline, that playing through Death Stranding in like without an internet connection, I would hate that game. I could not possibly imagine playing that game without the quote unquote strandness of it, because it is coming up to a new area and seeing that, oh, somebody put like the big umbrella down. Awesome. I get to like recharge. I get to like repair my backpack. I can just get out of the storm for a second. It's so nice that somebody put it out there. And the idea that I would always have to have those materials on hand to build those myself sounds fucking terrible. But the idea that one person can build it and the other people can go, hey man, thanks, and give it a like.
Go read any reviews for people who had early access to it when there's nobody playing it.
Yeah,
they all talk about that.
That sounds like a real bad experience. And I'm sure for the first game, Kojima really had to stress, hey guys, it's not going to be like that once everybody has access.
I really gamed and chased the social, like I wanted my shit to be loved. I thought I put so much effort into where I put stuff to
you could definitely see like somebody very strategically put this ladder in this spot to get likes.
Yes.
You also see the people, I hate these fucking people, but the people who put the little things you drive through.
Oh yeah.
Like they put it down immediately right as you get out of the big the knots. Because it's like the road that you have to go down, so you have no choice but to run through these things.
Oh, there's also rats that will delete things that have high social engagement and rebuild it as their own.
Yes, absolutely. Like what if I built here instead? What if I claimed this? Very funny.
Yeah.
Your point is valid here. The question is Blueprints more of a Strand game than Death Stranding? And I think the answer is no. Like Blueprints is a game that is completely single player. The game itself has no way of integrating to multiplayer stuff. Even I even think of playing something like Catherine, which is a completely solo experience. But at least when you go in and you answer the questions, you get to see how all the other players in the world answered. And there is something like, oh, well, we're all kind of playing this game together. That's cute. Blueprints doesn't have that. Blueprints doesn't say, oh, 33% picked that box instead of this box. It doesn't do any of that shit. The strandness comes in through the experience outside of the video game. It's Bobby and I talking. It's me showing Bobby.
It's the water cooler.
It's me showing Bobby a stupid map I drew in my notes, and Bobby going, I don't know what the fuck that means, and me going, well, it means this and this and this. You have like your Charlie Day and Always Sunny moment where you're like, it's Pepe Sylvia, he's over here.
Pepe Sylvia right over here.
And I think those moments that if you do have any friends who are playing the game at the same time, and that's not going to be for everybody, but a lot of people were playing the game at the same time, you could potentially go on forums and get this stuff too, and looking through YouTube videos. But the idea that we're all trying and we're using our shared knowledge to open up new avenues, that I think is kind of a Strand thing, but it is not codified in the game. It's tougher to make that call. And I think you could make that argument about many different puzzle games. You can make that argument about something like Fez, where we're all playing the ARG kind of thing together. So whereas I think we did give it to like Mario Maker as the best Strand game.
Yeah, we did.
Over Death Stranding 1. I think Death Stranding 2 on the beach is, without a doubt, the best Strand game of 2025.
I love
it. Maybe by default. I
love it, though.
But it is the best Strand game. Congratulations to Hideo Kojima. You did it. You finally made the best Strand game in a year.
Chase, I want to check in with you really quick. We've been doing this for 2 hours.
We have.
We've got we've got two big things left. We either find a way to effectively and efficiently get through them without rushing, or we kick Friday off with them.
I'm willing to power through if you are.
All right.
I think we can. I think the next category is going to be has the potential for being long. The category after that is going to be pretty darn short. But I think we can do this.
Okay. I know that you like to do long podcasts. I do not have the endurance you have when it comes to that.
Well, I'm sick. I'm still coughing for most of this. So
I probably will be after this too.
I'm also dying, but we're gonna make it happen, buddy.
All right. I'm going to run through what we have here. We've got a lot. This is probably our biggest category, which makes me feel weird.
So this is best debut.
Best debut.
These are games that Bobby has fought with me many years on what this category actually means. Best debut is the best game that is not related to a previously made property, and also is not a sequel to anything. Like it has to be an original game with original stuff.
It's a stupid rule. I hate
It's
this.
not a stupid rule. I want to reward originality. And I think even if you make a really cool game that's got Wolverine in it, it's like, okay, but you got Wolverine. You already had people built in to play this game. And I think it's really important to show off creativity.
But if there's never been a Wolverine game before, then I think that Wolverine game should be recognized and celebrated for doing something original that, like, this wasn't a thing ever.
And that is where we differ.
Correct. a big difference. Yes. And I think that it's silly that you can't reward originality with an existing character that has never been in a video game before. Like, that's the thing for me. Like, you argued against Lego Fortnite, where it's like, yeah, everybody knows Lego, everybody knows Fortnite. But that was a whole new thing that was completely different than anything else in the game at the time. So here's what we're going to argue about this year. We've got a game about digging a hole, Absalom, Arc Raiders, Atomfall, Avowed, Ball X Pit, Blueprints, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Despelote, Dispatch, Drop Duchy, Eternal Strands, Is Deceit Taken, Keep Driving, Mega Bonk, Odd Sparks and Automation Adventure, Peak, Skate Story, Split Fiction, Sword of the Sea, The Root Trees Are Dead, To a T, Unfair Flips, and Wonder Stop.
I've got great news for you, Bobby.
What is that?
I have zero problem with any of the nominees on this category.
That's good. Let's start in the right direction.
Yeah, we did it.
I am going to cut Atomfall. That's the first thing from the studio that makes Sniper Elite. So it was cool to see them kind of make their own Fallout style game. And it was set in a very interesting version of England that took some liberties into actual history.
I think in the interest of time, maybe we should just each pick our top three.
Oh, okay.
Just to help us move this along.
Then for me, I would get rid of that one. I would get rid of that one. I'm trying to remember which ones, because I think there was some overlap with us on a few of these.
If there's a game you like, you don't have to worry that I'm going to pick it.
No, you're good.
Because if we overlap, then that's even stronger that game might be.
Give me some to get rid of.
I'll give you some to keep. I'll say that my three are probably Despelote, Ball Pit, and maybe Absalom.
Yeah, Absalom's on there for me for sure. I'm getting rid of Megabonk. Split Fiction can go. I don't know anything about Unfair Flips, I don't think.
Unfair Flips is a really cool game that I watched somebody play. You flip a coin, and you get money when it shows up on heads, and you don't get money when it shows up on tails. And the point of the game is to flip 10 heads in a row. And
Sounds cool.
It starts out where the coin is not fair, as you might guess by the name. It is not a 50-50 chance, but you will continue to upgrade. It's like a clicker, kind of, where you just keep flipping the coin. But then you can upgrade the coin by either getting more money, or upgrade the speed that you're able to flip the coin, or upgrade the percentage chance that it lands on heads versus tails. But you can only max it out to, I think, like 55%. So you still, or maybe 60%. So you still can't guarantee when you finish the game. And then it also has a bunch of different endings of how the 10th flip lands at the end. That game is ridiculous and fun, and I love it. But no, I don't think it ends up winning this category.
You said Despelote. You said Absalom.
Despelote, Ball Pit, and Absalom, I think, are my my three.
So then that I need to kill a darling here. I will get rid of Dispatch.
I mean, you don't have to. Those. It's 3 and 3 right there. I mean, I know you're saying Absalom is like on your list too, but
yeah.
So this is our final 4. 5. There's 5 here.
Despelote, Ball X Pit, Absalom, Arc Raiders, and Clair Obscure Expedition 33. I mean, I'm with you, Chase. There's not anything on this list that I'm disappointed by. Good news.
Yeah. My guess, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that if you got to pick your number 1, you would say Clair Obscure Expedition 33. If I got to pick my number 1, I'd say Ball Pit. And the one that we'd agree on together is Absalom.
I thought that you would have Despelote as your best pick here.
I think from a personal standpoint, I think Despelote is probably a game I like more than Ball Pit, but I don't know why, but I'm arguing Ball Pit here would probably be my number 1 on best debut. But I think Absalom is the one that we could both agree on.
So this would go like this then. If like we were right, like winner Absalom, Chase Ball Pit, Bobby Clair Obscure is how that would play. But for the show, we both we're doing the you son of a bitch Dylan hand clasp over Absalom.
If you wanna go with that, I am perfectly fine with that.
But I think Ball Pit's fucking rad too. I mean, Clair Obscure, surprise, it's my game of the year.
I'm not surprised.
But I also recognize that our show, we have played Ball Pit together. We have played Absalom, not together, but we've talked. You've watched me play it. We're going to play it together.
We played it individually, yeah.
I think that either one of those could capture the show in a way that I feel really good about because we've enjoyed those in proximity.
Yeah.
I have pained you with Clair Obscure Expedition 33. I love that game so much. It will get its due from me. It already has. But I think here we now have an opportunity to look at this in a way of like, all right, well, which one of these is it going to be? And
you like Absalom better than Ball Pit, correct?
You took the wind out of my sails on Ball Pit after you streamed it and showed me all the cool shit because I was going to do that, and I was just like, I've seen it. I know what this thing is.
Yeah.
I reckon it's cool, but like I got to play that demo with you and was wowed by it. But Absalom is a very, very cool game. I like that one a whole lot. So
yeah,
but I also think Ball Pit's rad.
I mean, I would be perfectly fine going Absalom on this one. It is, you know how much I talk about Muramasa the Demon Blade. I think this is probably the closest thing I've gotten to a game that feels like a lot of the things I love about Muramasa the Demon Blade, and that does impress me quite a bit.
Yeah.
Now, I am still very much in the honeymoon period of that game. I hear that there's like a middle part where it just doesn't feel like you're making much progress, and then finally you get enough upgrades that you feel like you're making progress all the time near the end. So I might start to feel differently about that game as I play the next couple hours. But
I really want to play
right
with you.
now. I think that game looks, sounds, feels, and is fucking rad.
Yeah,
so I am perfectly fine.
Absalom is really fucking good. Hell yeah. All right, man. That brings us to the last category and a new category. It's called.
Look at how quick that was, Bobby. You thought that was going to take forever.
I just didn't know what we were going to do there. Best number 2. I had this thought more so than other years that
you've been so tickled by this idea, and I've just kind of gone, all right, bud, man. If you wanna push this category, I'm fine with it. I just don't.
We have 11 games here that are direct sequels in the same calendar year. There's been other entries. There's always Call of Duties. There's definitely been like Monument Valley 3, for example. There's always this. The reason I bring it up here too is like you've been pretty vocal over the last year about creative bankruptcy. And while I think a lot of these games are awesome, they're safe. They're very safe to the point where like some of these games like Monster Train 2. Monster Train is a casual hour classic, a game that we have played a ton of. we've played far less of Monster Train 2, and I got a bigger one for you here. Neither one of us has played 1.0 of Hades 2.
Yeah.
And so
Hades was like a game of the year for me. I think it was neck and neck with Final Fantasy VII remake. I think I gave the edge to Hades personally. I think our show gave it to Final Fantasy. But like that was a huge game for me. I loved that
Citizen
game a
Sleeper
ton.
was a huge game for you.
It was, and I just didn't care about the second game at all.
So like the theme here is what are we looking for, if anything, from a sequel, and what do we want to celebrate here? Not all of these games are not out completely, and that can change. Like there is
Sure.
Grounded 2 in early access here. Some of these games came out and just did terrible. Some of these games we haven't played.
Importantly, this is not best sequel. This is best number 2. I think this is a sophomore attempt at these games.
Yeah.
You know, not that it would be on here, but Call of Duty Black Ops 12 or whatever the fuck it is not on this list. Like this, we're specifically talking about taking that second bite at the apple and seeing who did it well and who didn't.
There's a couple games on here that we have not played at all. I'm going to get rid of them right now. Citizen Sleeper, Hades 2, Hollow Knight, Silk Song. We have not played those. We have not played Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
Correct.
But everything else on here, I
suppose probably a lot of people are like, where's Silk Song and all these stuff? It's like, guys, have you not listened to the podcast at all? That is not our game.
Yeah. Like
we're not Silk Song fans here. We didn't
play Hollow Knight. Yeah.
That was never going to show up on these lists. I know that probably changes the math in some very significant ways for people. But not us. So Silk Song, sorry guys.
Well, even for Hades 2, which I mean was nominated all across the board on things. Highest rated game this on Metacritic this year. So as far as like a best number 2, this we kind of just talked about Monster Train. Like I think that's off the table for us on like what we want from it.
I think Monster Train 2 is better than a lot of these other roguelike sequels.
I agree. It's really good.
And yet I would still say it's fine.
Yeah.
Like where I think a lot of the other ones are just bad or completely boring. I think Monster Train 2 is good. I think it's good. And in the same way that I think if I did play Hades 2, I'd go, Hades 2 is good.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would ever say it's, a game of the year or amazing or something like that.
I haven't played enough of Dark Deity. I think it's really cool.
I haven't played any of the second game. I liked the first game. I didn't quite finish it. I was going to finish it so I could play the second game this year and then didn't. So I don't know much about 2.
I think the Outer Worlds 2 is far and above better than the Outer Worlds, but I don't think it's the best number 2 on this list. So I'm going to get rid of the Outer Worlds 2.
Okay.
I think Slam Rancher 2 is a really cool follow-up. I have not gotten to expand on all the 1.0 stuff yet, but I don't know. I think that it makes you work a little bit harder at some of the stuff you got earlier on, which could be a sign of progression compared to the other one. It's really good. I don't think it's better than some of the other stuff on this list right now. And I don't think I can give it to Grounded 2 because it's an early access, but I will tell you so far, it's better than Grounded. The map's already bigger. The mounts are better, but it's not a complete body of work for me to base it off of. And I will tell you that I did not play Kingdom Come Deliverance, so I can't base it off that, but everything I love this game so much.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Chase,
I'd be fine giving it to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. The thing I think about when I think of Death Stranding 2, I remember us discussing this game when it first came out. This wasn't even going to be a game you were going to play.
No.
And then you just secretly bought it and started playing it anyway. I still don't understand why you did that. But I remember us having the conversation as we both played it, where, yeah, it's cool. It's, maybe it doesn't feel as good as the first game. There's some stuff that doesn't work as well. I think the storytelling isn't quite as there. I remember us complaining, me especially, but I remember us both complaining about this game. And then just the more we play it, actually, I think it does feel a little better than the first game. It does feel all right. The story's still kind of stupid. I still have some issues with the story, especially compared to the first game. But I think there's some interesting stuff there. There's some cool characters. Like, oh, I really like that character. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I really like that event. I really like this new piece of equipment. I really like this thing that it has you do. I like this new enemy type. Like, I think I actually like this game. And the more I played it, the more I liked it. The more I continued to like it. And it was this slow burn that by the end of it, I thought, I I think that's one of the best games I played this year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want it. I kept thinking I wasn't even going to play this. That I was on the fence. I got Death Stranding 1. I had a really good time with it. I don't really need to play a second game. I feel like they kind of told the story they needed to tell. I had the experience I wanted. I don't really need a sequel. And then pick it up and you play it and you just keep going. Yeah.
Dude, but it builds.
Yeah, okay.
Big plus one to everything that you just said. But when you go back to it being the best number 2, Kojima found a way to make the friction more interesting in this. Like the stuff with like finding BTs and all the other shit was always a downer of this. Like the friction of this game is the environment that you're in. Like, of course, the Death Stranding is taking place, but when you're out there, like even having your pistol be in a pocket, having the ability to stack things up in a more intelligent way, being able to ship resources around with the train in a more compelling, easier way to do it. Like the way that he packaged up like movement, momentum, the exoskeletons, like everything in the first game felt tedious because that inherently is what the game should be. You're carrying a lot of baggage, both emotionally in the game and in this, but like putting your bag down, being able to quickly like redistribute shit, being able to take the oh my God, the like electronic thing and tether down your gear. So if you fall over, you don't lose stuff as easily. Like some people said the game was too easy. I think the game gave more agency of choice on what you wanted the friction to be. If you want to go fight BTs, capture them now. Make them part of your shit. Throw them out there. Get them that way. If you want to go, do what Chase did. Hoof it more. Or take the motorcycle because it's a little bit more of that freedom of the road. There's stuff here that they make so far more compelling. I very famously bounced off of Death Stranding around the 4th chapter. And we very famously talked immense shit about that game, letting us down at Game of the Year. And for me to go and tell you that like Death Stranding 2 is a Game of the Year, like I don't know a better compliment to this category than recognizing this is a fantastic sequel, but also just a really, Brad Shoemaker said this, so I'm not going to take credit, but I'm going to agree with him. I think this is the best game Kojima's made that I've played personally. It's really fucking cool.
Yeah, it's, I think if he got to finish MGSV, I probably would have put that one on top.
Yeah,
but that is a very
that's the real wabi sabi winner of all time, right there.
Yes, certainly. But also maybe if he finished that game, because they did put more of that game out once it first came out. But that game was better before they made the first update to it. Anyway, yeah, we used to have a category that was best surprise. For the casual hour, and we've retired that one at this point because I think there was a lot of
it became biggest overachiever, right?
Yeah, but there was still a lot of internal confusion on what actually counted for that and what that meant, and was a game that we didn't know anything about that became a big game, or a game that we thought was going to suck and then it was a good game. Like what do we actually count as? How do you calculate any of that shit? But I feel like Death Stranding 2 would have been a real contender for a best surprise.
I still keep that category in my own journal. I do, because I love it. I'm like, this really surprised. And there's a few that I've had this year, but Death Stranding 2 is way up there for me. Just FYI, I keep that going still personally.
I was just very, very pleasantly surprised by the quality of this game, and that the more I played it, the more I wanted to play it.
Yeah.
And the fonder I got about the whole experience. This was a game I very much considered just not playing at all, just completely ignoring. And now at the end of the year, like, yeah, I think that was.
It not only is it the best Strand game, it's the best number 2.
I think that's probably like a top 5 video game this year for me, which is kind of wild. I did not expect that going into this year, and I'm happy it's here.
What's cool about that is like other shows that we've talked about that we listen to outside of here. Like I have viewed Death Stranding 2 as the shows I listen to's game of the year. It's the game that all of them talk about. There's other things that they've enjoyed more than it, but it's the game that like Nextlander has talked the most about Death Stranding 2 on the beach this year.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like, oh yeah. Let's run down this. So we got through all of our episodes here. Thank you all for listening and sticking through it. We know that this is a longer one. It's not even the longest game of the year stuff we've done. Just FYI. Don't tempt us. We have the receipts. But best moment or sequence went to Claire Obscure with Enter the Duelist. Wish I Liked It More was Pokemon Legends ZA. Touchy Feely of the Year went well deserved to Despelote. Chase's best hack is Fire Emblem Sacred Echoes, a game that he loves. Best Strand Game, Death Stranding 2 on the beach. The best debut goes to Absalom, and that felt like a good handshake of our show. There were other games that meant a lot to us individually. And then the best number 2 is easily Death Stranding 2 on the beach. And that gets us to the end of our categories, which means it's top 10 time. But you're not getting it tonight. We're tired. We're sick. Our voices are going.
I could keep going, but I am also tired.
That's fair. That's what I tell my wife. And
okay.
We will be back on Friday to continue this conversation where we will be chatting about top 10 list as well as our most anticipated. If you want to know more about what we've done so far, you can go and follow along at thecasualhour.com. Go check out episode 450 to find out about those earlier categories and what led us to it. And then on Friday, come back while we have a more interactive scientific list for the show. Chase, you are also very busy. I don't know if you're doing episodes of the year over there on Pilot Program.
I'm not.
Pilot of the year. Who is it?
Could be. It wouldn't be the Shield, I can tell you that.
That's fair.
Yeah, I've got my YouTube channel, Chase K Plays, where I'm playing Star Wars Knights of the Republic. We're on Tatooine now. It's a lot of fun. We just got HK47, so go check that out. Experience what video games used to be like. Then I've also got, as Bobby said, I've got my other podcast with our good friend Pierce Borshane called Pilot Program, where Pierce and I watch the first episodes of every television show ever made. Our latest episode is on the NBC show Friday Night Lights, which was a lot of fun to record. Interesting show. Good conversation. And our next episode is going to be on Star Trek: The Original Series. So check out that. That'll be debuting sometime in probably mid-January, I imagine. But go check those out.
Hell yeah. Well, Chase, thank you so much. I know this was a longer one. Appreciate it. Had a really fun time talking about these with you as always. Thanks again for the categories. I know that a lot of work goes into capturing this. The downhill side, like the easy road, is about to come around the corner. The tough stuff's done. Thank you for that. I appreciate
I'm sure
it.
Friday will be a very short episode.
No, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for all the work on pulling this together and sharing the links and talking through it. And
same to you, man. All the graphics that you made for this, I think the graphic style that you've done for these episodes made it a lot better on Twitch. Again, if you wanna like watch along on Twitch, I think that's a very good way of doing this. But if you're listening on the podcast, we appreciate that too. And hopefully we made it a good experience for you to listen to as well.
Absolutely. But yeah, thank you, man. And we'll be back on Friday at 9 p.m. Central with our top 10 list. We'll see you all.